Spoilers of the Damned.
Hello and welcome to Spoilers of the Damned, episode number 34. Today we will be discussing the classic, so classic I can't believe I never saw it before, film by John Carpenter. It's Halloween, which we're talking about in the middle of the summer, but never mind, that's okay. It wasn't filmed at Halloween either, and it wasn't filmed in the right place in the country either, right. So don't worry about it.
By the time they hear this podcast, it will be Halloween.
Yeah, by the time it's live, it'll probably be Halloween 2019. So
or 2020. sorry.
Future. Yeah, see, like you round up to 2020. It's a nicer year to release podcasts in.
Yeah.
Nice round number.
Just in case you're wondering what the hell we're talking about, listener, you're probably hearing this several months after we recorded it, because season 2 has been a bit of a kind of a rocky road in terms of getting the podcast out, but hopefully that's all going to change soon. So,
so
maybe we'll just release season 2 all at once, and everybody can just
too much meta,
back to
too
back
much
them.
meta. Stop. Too much meta. Have you done anything spooky this week?
I'll be disappointed if there isn't at least one person who has listened to all of these back to back.
Yeah, well, there will be someday. But
it is not this day.
Yeah. Well, okay, so it's been a while since we recorded as well, guys. So how have you been? Have you been up to anything horrific? I'm probably going to change that question by the way.
Yeah, murders lately. I haven't been caught yet. It's been amazing. The only thing I could think of, like right on the offhand right now, is the fact that I've been playing on my Switch, and it's been great. And I keep thinking, what else can I buy on the Switch? So I go to the E3, the eShop or whatever you call it, and I notice they have the what was it called? The full thing. It's something Doctor Dekker. The Infectious Madness of Doctor Dekker is on the Switch.
We've covered that before on the podcast.
We've covered the game,
well, you did,
but not on the Switch.
Yeah.
On the Switch. Now remember, you have to type in your questions, right? On a PC.
Yeah.
How do you do that on a Switch?
Is it a touch thing? You haven't played it yet?
I didn't buy it, so I already own it on the PC.
Of course.
I was just thinking how horrible it would be to have to like
Chris,
thumb type
I was
it.
expecting you to have invested the time and effort to give us a on-detail report about the Switch port and the differences for the podcast.
Well, I found this out like at 4 this morning. I'm not even. But I was just imagining like how you'd have to like thumb type it all in, like analog stick A, analog stick A, analog stick A, analog stick, only to have them go, nope, don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, jeez. Fuck.
Yeah, just like, oh god, I hate this game. Why did I give them $13 for this experience?
I'm
not typing hello.
I
don't know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the game, but from what you told me, it does seem not like the most intuitive thing to go, yes, this needs to go on the Switch.
I mean, when you have to like type it on the keyboard, you have, you can whip out a sentence or two pretty quickly. It's not that bad, but Switch. I did notice like in the video they had though that there was like options so you can just like select dialogue, but then you're just doing like a visual novel if that's how it works.
Yeah.
But it also states in the thing where it says you can freeform questions and stuff. So I guess it's a mix of both. But like the who are yous and how are you, how did you get here, and why are you staring at me questions are already automatically populated.
Why are you alive?
Yeah. Why are you crazy?
Why are you batshit insane?
Yeah. So
even after all these promises.
Right. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew it's on the Switch now too. Like personally though, I still like the idea of the game and I still want to go through it someday, but it's just not a Switch game. I don't know why. Or even if like like on the mobile part.
I did get it on GOG or not.
If you're just like holding it, like playing the Switch mobily while this person's like saying, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like I could be playing Mario.
I could be playing the game.
Yeah, I could be doing the 100 jump ropes.
Did you guys see, being on topic with horror games on the podcast, did you guys see that new Pokemon thing?
Yeah.
There's 2 new Pokemon things.
Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's annoyed me quite a bit actually, because every time Nintendo unleashes a new thing, I'm kind of like I sit there and I go, this is so close to what I want. It's so nearly there. But then you had to go put the Pokemon Go in it, and it's actually encouraged my brother to go back to Pokemon. I'm never going back. I've had enough of that shit.
We can't go back.
Yeah.
Can't go back.
Yeah. Well, it's like this morning, for example, I'm about to go to bed, so I'm on Reddit looking at just nonsense, and then like a half an hour passes, and I'm like, I could have been asleep for a half an hour, or I could have been watching something on YouTube or something better than like a meme after another meme or after another meme. And why do I understand what r/trebuchet memes mean? Because it's always on the front page, and it's like, why do I keep doing this to myself? Pokemon Go is the same thing, where it's like I could be going out walking and picking up Pokemon, but even then you have to like organize them, turn them into candy, and feed them to their children or something like that. And then
more Pokemon for the Pokemon grinder.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I could be doing anything. I could be learning a language or something. I could be unlocking life's mysteries, but instead I'm running this Pokemon treadmill with my thumbs. Yeah, that's the horrifying
There's something
part.
about that time of the there's something about very, very late or very, very early.
Yeah.
That kind of like, because that's always when I fall down a Wikipedia hole. Or last night actually, I knew I had to get up early this morning because me and my brother went to. We usually go to a boot fair on Sunday morning, so I knew I had to be up fairly early. But it struck me that 12:30 was the perfect time to start watching. I don't know if you guys ever saw this. It was like in the late 90s. They did these specials called The Masked Magician and decoding magic and showing how all these magic tricks are done.
Yeah, I remember that.
They're on Netflix, at least in the UK. And they're super nostalgic for me because I remember them. And I didn't know at the time, I'd not watched any X-Files, but Mitch Pileggi narrates them.
So weird.
And it's so nostalgic and fun. But, at 12:30 was the perfect time to decide to watch these. So we watched about 3 45-minute programs. It's like, it's 2 o'clock. Shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the danger.
That really is like. I mean, it's like once in a while it's fine, but then you start doing that like every night for 4 hours, and like I just got home from work, I'm gonna go to bed, and you lay in bed, phone over your like just sort of looking at stuff. Like I watched a 1 hour speedrun of Zelda on the NES because I've been playing Hyrule Warriors like crazy. And I don't remember, I never actually beat the first Zelda, so I wanted to see it done, but I didn't want to see it done like broken. I wanted to see it from beginning to end. And I found a 1 hour speedrun, which was an attempt to beat the game as fast as possible. And but the actual like world record somewhere around like 32 minutes. They go like they get the sword and they go to a scroll. They scroll to the left and they turn around and then scroll back again, and it somehow puts them on the other side of the screen, so they can just go to the next screen by clipping through like all the screen. What? Yeah. So I was like,
there's a similar kind of trick on Link's Awakening that me and my brother, like those few things before the internet where you actually discover things. We found you could kind of like bring up the item screen as you're in screen transition, and you'll basically skip to that place on the next screen, and it gets you past so much shit. Yeah, and that's what I do now. But that kind of thing.
Like this 1 hour speedrun didn't do that because I didn't discover it yet. So it was much more like just a 100% beginning to end run of Zelda, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. But then like a whole hour passed. They could have gone to bed. And I wasn't done yet. I was like, what else can I watch on YouTube?
Isn't it like SGDQ next week or something?
Oh, I hope so.
Pretty sure it is.
Oh man,
the horror block looks interesting. There are a couple of runs there, but I always catch those on. I try to watch a little bit when it's live, but work and life.
I don't know how anyone watches it when it's live. I mean, people who have jobs. I have a job. I can't like sit there and watch it at my job. And if I'm at home, I could be playing something, or I could watch someone else play something live. And I mean that's fine to watch someone else play something, but like when you have it on YouTube, when it's on VOD, you could actually just like skip past all the charity stuff and all the ads and sponsored stuff and just get to the point And yeah, it saves more time that way. So I don't know why anyone even watches it live. I know why they do the event. I just don't know why anyone watches it live and just like hours and hours of we're setting up for the next Mega Man X speedrun.
And then the kind of the awkward banter between them and stuff.
Oh, and they're trying to be funny. They're trying to be really funny and then really cute.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But you have to understand, it's like they're nerds. They just don't. I mean, we're nerds, but at the same time, they're not used to being in front of a mic. So they're not
used to being in
performers.
front of people.
Yeah, they're not performers. So that's why it's awkward.
Well, it's like E3. I don't understand why people sit there and watch it unless you're obviously there at the event or you're a journalist or something.
Yeah.
You're like a YouTuber with like a substantial amount of followers that give you clicks, but like I don't understand it. I can just get all the trailers after they've already aired live and just go back and go, interested in that, don't care. And if it's nothing but a CGI trailer, I just completely dismiss it because that tells me absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, a launch trailer. Yeah, it's cool. It's all pre-rendered. That literally tells me nothing about how the way the game plays.
Yeah.
Like EA have announced, or they're releasing even a new Command & Conquer, and about 9/10 of the trailer are nothing but CGI, and there's like a few snippets of gameplay, which just tells me that they are not confident that it plays well and that the game looks good, because it's like it's over.
Yeah, I know someone at I think that is it Creative Assembly, the people who did Alien Isolation.
Yes.
I have a friend who works there in the QA, and he posted about Command & Conquer and how it's a travesty and it's his like favorite series and everything.
Yeah, I know
like,
loads of people who love it.
It's E3.
Yeah, and it's just thing like it looked so generic. I think it looks like it might be a mobile game. I think that's what they're hinting
it really
at.
does.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
because it's all like, look at they're doing like touchscreen stuff. Like, please don't do that.
Yeah, no,
don't do that.
I'm pretty sure it is. They kind of had these two YouTubers, I don't know who they are, out on the stage playing this game, and then apparently they revealed that it was Command & Conquer.
So that's what
I'm sure everyone
went,
right? Yay!
Yeah, it's like, I'd love to have been there live. I'd love to be there live in person just so I can hear the disappointment when they release certain things. Like, oh wow, they did a new thing. Like, oh, this is so good. No, it's a mobile game. Oh, yeah. And then just a polite.
Yeah, will there be lunch? I was paid to be here to clap.
Oh, remember that was that one time where Xbox like said, "Oh, everyone's got a new Xbox under their seat," and everyone's like, "Ooh, like I'd go for that."
Yeah.
Well, maybe not even for an Xbox now, but
No one wants an Xbox One now. We've got great games. Oh, what exclusives? Well,
Killer Instinct, and that's it.
Sea of Thieves, I guess.
Sea of Thieves, well, it's on PC. Gears of War, oh no, that's on PC as well. Quantum, oh no, that's on. Basically, we've got loads of PC games.
Yeah, if you don't want to buy a computer, you can get an Xbox One.
Yeah. Why not buy an Xbox One and have it update every week?
Yeah. Yeah.
I dread every time I turn it on, like, oh, it's going to be like a 200 gig update. Oh, it's fine, thank God for that.
Mine's in pieces in a bag upstairs, so yeah, I can only imagine how many like hours it's going to need to update when I do plug it.
Like chop
it's
in
horrible.
a bag upstairs.
Yeah, no,
Just
it's
like
going back
broken
to all those murders I did. I started with the Xbox.
Yeah.
Too many updates.
Well,
Update now.
no, there's a spot just underneath the TV for one console, and I got my PS4, plugged it in. I took the Xbox apart to plug the PS4 in, and that was it.
Yeah,
It's just a better console.
yeah.
It's louder. PS4 is loud. Well, because I got an OG PS4, it is quite loud depending on the game you're playing. Like, me and my girlfriend have been playing God of War a lot, which is fucking amazing. But and it's like the really pretty, like big open spaces, and the machine is just like, oh, processor power.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember when you were
have to
screaming
turn it
Evil
up.
Within 2 that you could hear the PS4 in the background.
It's like, just close the cabinet. Nope, still coming through.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's
Oh, look, I'm in the big area.
To get like a
Hello,
soundproof
PS4,
cabinet,
you're awake.
put it in there, and then there would be no oxygen or ventilation going in, and it would just like melt.
Just have a fire.
Yeah.
It's on fire.
So
console's so good it's on fire.
And I actually have a PS4 Pro, and it still has that kind of thing. Like, we were watching, a buddy of mine and I were watching Cobra Kai, which I do recommend, even if you have to get YouTube Red.
Is that the Netflix season?
That's not on Netflix,
it's on
YouTube Red, yeah.
Oh, okay, it's on YouTube.
I really hate that, too, because it'd be the only thing I'd watch on YouTube Red. I am not at all trying to say, yeah, everyone get YouTube Red. No, but Cobra Kai is so good, steal it. Steal it, or whatever, however you need to get it. Watch that shit. If you've never seen Karate Kid, watch that shit, too. But if you haven't seen Karate Kid, it's probably still a good show to watch. There's not a whole lot of nostalgia. Point is, we were watching it on his burned, pirated DVDs that he put together, because we're not getting YouTube Red. And my PS4 was like, like, watching that. I don't know why. It just was screaming. We're like,
it's like, my God, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
It's funky.
It's trying hard to read the karate on that disc.
They're moving too fast.
Yeah.
Cannot render.
Anyway, side gags. I should have a shirt that says side gags.
Or segue.
Yeah, for our listeners only, that was some pretty impressive karate moves.
That was very
Not
impressive.
a wasted move. Not a wasted
But
move.
even the viewers,
You're perfect.
even the viewers wouldn't be able to see
Yeah,
it.
even the viewers couldn't see it was so fast.
Yeah, it was too fast. Even I was struggling. So, like, I don't know what happened. You just sat there.
It reminds me, for some reason at work, my brain just like travels, and I remembered Ask a Ninja. Have you guys ever?
Oh
enjoyed
my
Ask a
God,
Ninja?
I remember that.
Yeah.
What's Ask a Ninja?
I remember that. I
Back
remember
when the internet
I was
was
at college
fun,
when it came out.
there was this guy on YouTube who just put like a T-shirt over his head, and he wore a black T-shirt or something. And he pretended to be a ninja,
Ask a
and he would
Right,
field
okay.
questions from people, and then he would answer them in hilarious, like rapid fire kind of ways. And like this part here reminded me of when he was talking about how he had to like fight off a whole bunch of like man-eating piranha, and it was like like on the camera, but then they slowed it down, and he was just like. And it's like not a wasted move. That was perfect. Efficient. You need to check it out, Tom. It's gonna like hurt your brain. It's gonna be one of those things when you start and you won't know when it ever like goes from episode to episode. So it's just like it all just sort of piles onto your head. It's really great though. Really great. Really good jokes. If you can.
Yeah, it's like classic YouTube.
Yeah. Back in
It's
the
like one
day.
of the first.
Okay.
Don't do it
one of the first,
now.
like, proper-
It'll assassinate your attention span. Don't do it right now. He's doing it right now.
I can't. This new recording method I'm testing. You and me are all full screen, and I can't actually look at anything else because it will come up in the recording. So
Oh, good.
I'm stuck with you guys.
Oh, good.
For an hour and a half.
Yeah, for a little while now, you'd be like, I want to.
I want
But
to
I
see
can't.
what it is, yeah, but I can't.
I absolutely can't. I really want to. Willpower.
See.
Focus. Be like a ninja.
His
Like a ninja.
their last video was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Wow,
Yeah, last time they uploaded was 2 years ago.
that's crazy.
I
Like,
don't know what they're doing now.
I remember it was like 10 years ago that I was watching that stuff.
Yeah, it was. I remember it being quite big, like in terms of YouTube
Yeah,
at the
he
time.
even had a Verizon sponsorship, which was weird because that was back when we didn't even want ads on YouTube. We still don't, but that was back when that mattered. Before we lost the war.
Well, I remember watching this religiously and Chad Vader. I remember watching a lot of Chad Vader back.
Oh
in the
yeah,
day.
yeah, like Darth Vader's brother or something like that.
Yeah, and he was just like a. Was it like a store manager at a supermarket?
Yeah, supermarket.
Well, it's cool though because the guy who did the voice of Chad Vader went on to do voice acting for Darth Vader in like Star Wars games and stuff. It's
What?
really cool. He did the voice. Yeah, he did the voice of Darth Vader in the Force Unleashed. It turned out that he did the voice for that. It was crazy.
What?
It's like good for him. It's like fucking good for
Yeah.
him, man.
Wow, that's crazy. Like all that stuff you're doing with Chad Vader, could you just like keep it serious for like 10 goddamn minutes? In front
We'll
of a
pay you.
microphone?
Like, you what? Yeah, we'll pay you this time.
Yeah.
What? Crazy.
I was just joking around on the internet. Now I'm getting a fat paycheck. Oh wow.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, was it? Here we go. Yeah, Chad Vader, Day Shift Manager, written by Aaron Yonder and Matt Sloan. I think it's Aaron Yonder that did the
Sorry, I'm
voice.
just watching Tom's face. It's like I can tell he wants to click on these things. He wants to.
Oh no, it was,
he wants to YouTube right now. He wants to see all this stuff.
Well, I've never seen Chad Vader either,
Yeah.
so I
here
clearly
we go.
missed like all of this shit at the start of YouTube.
Yeah.
You got, Matt Sloan. As a voice actor, Sloan played Darth Vader in Soul Calibur 4. He went on to reprise his role as the voice of Darth Vader in the LucasArts video games Star Wars The Force Unleashed, Empire at War,
Wow.
Force Unleashed 2, Lego Star Wars, Kinect Star Wars,
He fits in Lego Star
Disney
Wars,
Infinity. Yeah, Lego Star Wars Droid Tales. Yeah, he does Darth Vader stuff now. It's really cool. That's really cool. Like he started out doing like a YouTube series,
Yeah.
and now
It is, but you know, I think it's
Does the
nice
voice.
that some companies can recognize that the fan elements of their kind of followings can actually produce stuff like that. Because I mean, Sonic Mania is a case in point, and the Sonic CD port before that by Christian Whitehead? Sega kind of like he was a Sonic fan game maker, and they got him to do the ports and everything, and then he worked on Sonic Mania as well. So
yeah, Sonic Mania is probably the best Sonic game we've had since Sonic and Knuckles. Like really,
I
like
like
everyone.
Sonic Adventure, but yeah,
Yeah.
I would say Sonic
It's
Adventure
aged
1.
horribly.
I lean on Sonic Adventure 2. That was like my first real Sonic game, though. So that's how it is.
Oh,
for me.
that's fair enough.
I didn't play. I mean, I
That's the
played
thing, like,
Sonic 1,
nostalgia's a horrible
2.
thing.
I didn't have a Sega Genesis though. But when I got a Dreamcast, I was like, let's see what the Sonic shit's all about. And then I was running really fast, and there was that big truck. I'm like, you know what? I'm on board with this. I like this quite a bit. So
Let's
No,
think
we had Sonic Adventure for a month before we actually got a Dreamcast. That's
so you could do
like,
is just sit and look at it. Like someday soon.
read the
I will
manual.
play it.
wow.
I remember doing that lots and lots growing up. So obviously going into town and to get a bus would take like half an hour. Going to like Game Station when it was still Game Station before Game bought it out, or even way back when it was Electronics Boutique.
Yeah.
And then buying a game, and then sitting on the bus on the way home, and just like reading through everything, you know, just and reading everything.
Oh yeah, when there was
I
something
kind of
to
miss
read.
that. Yeah, because recently because for some reason I couldn't find my original copies of SmackDown 1 and 2 on wrestling games on the PlayStation 1. And me and my friend really want to play them, so I ordered SmackDown 2 from Amazon for like £5, and it arrived a couple of days ago. And yesterday I just sat down and just looked through the manual. It's like, I kind of miss this. This is fun. But I suppose they can do it all in game now as well.
Yeah,
so
they
when you
can
can
do
just
it.
look it up.
And
So.
it's digital and safe on paper. I understand all that
Yeah,
stuff.
which is fun.
I mean,
It's just good.
growing up, it was just like the big deal to crack that case open and look at this. Oh yeah, there's lore in here for the game.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is so cool.
Like stuff that wouldn't be in the game as well.
Yeah. Like I'm a big Devil May Cry nerd, right? So Devil May Cry 4 on the instruction manual has a short story where one of the characters gets his arm hurt or something like that, and it sort of sets the stage for him to have like a demon arm. They never mentioned it in the game though. They never mentioned it in the game. I love stuff like that. Yeah. But in the game, it's like, oh, actually, he's like probably the son of another half demon, and I'm like, no, the timeline doesn't make sense. There's no way he could have. So I'm a huge Devil May Cry nerd. I'll just leave it at that. But the instruction manual is where I'm like getting my information from.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I think it might be the first Resident Evil where it had like little character bios for all the Stars members, so you can like get an idea of their personalities. Because really, like with Wesker in particular, you don't see him that much. Like that's just the guy with the hair, and the sunglasses. Oh no, he's evil.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what kind of why. I don't know anything about.
That was awesome though. He was so slick, just like, oh my hair. I'm the captain of stars.
Have you
Isn't
ever
he the one before the fire as well? Like he's the last one, and then the fire comes up and goes.
It's like Resident
Yeah.
Yeah. And he also has some great lines such as "Stop! Don't open that door." It's good. It's a good read there. It's a good read. It's good stuff there. But
High five.
Have you ever listened? And he's like, "Yeah, nailed it."
That's actually his like real speech impediment.
Whoa! Thanks to you. Have you ever listened or seen the Japanese intro for that?
No.
It's still really cheesy, and it's still got the English voiceover for like Albert Wesker, because Japanese love English. They love spoken English.
Well, I would too if I had to speak Japanese.
Sorry, Japan.
Burn.
Sumimasen.
But during all the character introductions, they've all got like different music.
Oh, cool.
And like they've all got they've got lyrics as well, which is really weird. And there's two that make me really chuckle. One of them's where it goes to Chris Redfield, and you just hear "I got a shotgun" and a gun blast, and then a woman screaming.
I was like,
and then when it gets to Al, it's like "I got a shotgun," and then it gets to Albert Wesker. When you listen to the lyrics, all you can hear in the background is "Don't believe in the lines." You're like, "I don't believe in lies." What? He's evil, obviously.
Wow.
Spoiler warnings in the form of lyrics of a song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might be remembering the lyrics like wrong exactly, but it's just something to that extent of that's it. Never believe in the lies. I have a feeling this guy might be evil.
Yeah, right.
And Chris Redfield likes to shoot women, apparently. So I don't know why I laughed at that. It's not that funny.
Too.
Any excuse. He's like, damn it, I missed all those zombie women in Raccoon City. Fuck.
Yeah, he sure did.
So I could have a shotgun once again. Because if anyone listening, I know Tom watches Phaelus. That's where that gag comes from. The "I got a shotgun" gag.
Yeah.
Comes from the Japanese.
I've heard that bit in isolation, but I've not heard. I don't recall the woman screaming. So I'll go and check that. I've got a laundry list to check out after the podcast. So.
Because I used to think Phaelus put that additional bit in, but I'm sure I've heard it, and it's in there.
I can believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, and a guy screaming as he's being eaten, I assume, as well.
Yeah, probably being eaten.
Like, cool, this is great.
Like, I feel like the Japanese, when they tell stories, they don't really have as much of, like, it's like, something I've been saying lately is like when you have a different culture, it's not like something that you can easily understand. It's like seeing a new color for the first time, not something blue, not something green, but a new color with a new name, that kind of thing. That's what like identifying another culture is like. And the way they tell stories is, well, like we were talking about this when we were talking about the Grudge movies and Ju-on and that kind of stuff, how they just sort of slam things together, like, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just said, Wesker's the bad guy, like, right in the beginning. Because he's the bad guy. Like, if this was a play, he's the devious guy. We don't need to have a spoiler alert. We don't need to have, like, a plot twist. Like, the twist of the plot is all in the first, like, 3 minutes of the intro. Now you just enjoy the game. Something like that.
He just holds up a sign saying, "I'm a turncoat."
What are you going to do? Sometimes the coat's got to turn.
I work for Umbrella. We're the organisation that's responsible for this. It's not supernatural, it's actually a virus. Everything's just on the things like, cool, have fun, it's great.
Yeah.
Character's like, what's going on with Wesker?
Yeah. Why is he holding the best sign? He says I'm a bad guy.
He's
Isn't he the captain of our stars team? Should we follow this guy?
I just remember, for some reason, just randomly remember as well, like, there's that part when, if you're playing as Chris, and he shows Chris Tyrant, and Chris starts laughing, and he sounds genuinely really hurt, and he's like, "Chris, stop it." And we've got the wonderful delivery of, "Wesker, you're pitiful."
He is. Can't keep a secret, save his life.
No, he can't.
I'm the bad guy.
The guy with the sunglasses wearing all black and his hair slicked back is the bad guy. Who'd have thought it?
And this has slowly got me just building a top 10 favourite bad voice acting in games, like top 10 list. And
well,
it's
Goldman.
Goldman's on that list.
He has to be like
Dogs of the AMS.
Time they made a move. Oh, goodbye, friends. Oh, fucking Goldman! Like, Goldman would have to be up there. Like, in a top 10, he's got to be very close to the top.
Mankind committed a sin. disturbing the life cycle of nature.
Well, it's like, yeah, he's like,
The cycle that man is responsible to.
we're supposed to say like the man was responsible to.
Yeah,
He says it really weird. Like he's struggling. Like he hasn't inhaled for like an hour. He's like responsible.
Behold the Emperor.
I don't know what a Goldman is.
I love House of the Dead too.
It's so great.
He's the lead villain in House of the Dead too.
Oh yeah, okay.
But even the civilians and the agents all have bad voice. Like there's this one guy.
Help.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. There's the Leviathan boss with these like 5 or Hydra or whatever. It's got like 5 heads, and as you're going towards the door, a man comes out like this, and the worm grabs him around the middle and pulls it back, and he goes, "Help!"
You're like, oh, better go in after him. It's like, oh, there he goes.
Yep. We're meeting Jim over there.
It's so great, but like the bit right at the end when you defeat the Emperor, for some reason it's called the Emperor, and
Why not?
they yeah, exactly, they go up to Goldman and he just goes, goodbye friends, and jumps off of a building. Because obviously it's supposed to be like really sinister that he's like, wow, he's calling them friends. Like he's like, goodbye friends. Like, there he goes.
And then I think I can't remember exactly, but the two characters then basically like have a little soliloquy about, like, if only we have the will to live.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like,
Wow.
and then you just get some really nice music as they go all the way back down the tower we just came out. Went all the way up. Now we're just going all the way down.
And then we watch them go all the way down.
And there's an ending where Goldman's still outside standing, like he's alive. I'm pretty sure. Like if you do something special, like you shoot, I don't know. It's House of the Dead 2 is like this glorious train wreck.
Yeah.
It really is.
But with it
amazing.
With it being an arcade game, though,
it's so good.
it's kind of like, that's fine. Who cares? No one's really paying attention to stuff anyway. They're all like shooting to skip the scene so they can shoot the zombies again. So
pretty much.
And talking of the Dreamcast as well, it's just I had House of the Dead 2 with a proper like light gun. So
see, I didn't have that. I've always just had to play it with a controller, so I've always had to do it.
Oh, it's still good, but it's better with a light gun.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Even like there's a training mode in that game where you just have to do like these challenges, and so like I've got like bits of that game just stored in my head, which is really, it doesn't serve any purpose other than to repeat them on a podcast.
Yeah, and then make fun of the voice acting.
Yeah, because if you win like a challenge, it goes and he goes success.
Oh yeah. Way to go.
If you fail, he shakes his head like this and he goes failure. Failure.
Well, we can't also forget the wonderful delivery of when Goldman appears on the giant screen in the Coliseum. She goes, it's me, Goldman.
Look to your left. Yeah, I need to stop quoting this because I could just do this all day.
You probably get about 20 minutes
like,
out of the
the whole
podcast
script.
by just quoting House of the Dead lines. Like every line for line, in order, because they're all hilarious.
We haven't touched on Judgment yet either, so...
Or Halloween, for that matter.
No.
Yeah.
That comes later.
Yeah, well...
Later is now.
Yeah, it's been 40 minutes.
Has it really?
It has about 40 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, so we should probably talk about the movie you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
What was your pick?
Yeah,
we can do. So I picked Halloween mainly because when I started the podcast, I wanted the podcast to be a vehicle for me to essentially watch films that are supposedly classics of the genre that I kind of, you sort of feel... Well, I don't feel embarrassed, but you're supposed to feel embarrassed about not actually having seen before. When you say to people, "I've never seen Halloween," they go, "What?"
What? You're not a true fan of horror.
Exactly.
You've never seen that movie that came out before you were born?
And there is a shitload of them. So I thought,
only one of them is correct.
Well, yeah, no, that's
well, two maybe.
But
maybe
I mean, there are plenty of films like that I haven't seen that are supposedly staples of the genre. I've never seen a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I've seen one Scream movie actually, I guess, but like things like that, and so I picked Halloween because partially I owed my wife a choice because she always complains about the choices on the podcast. And,
What, she didn't like the Beyond? What? What's not to like about that with vomit-inducing visuals?
Yeah, well, and she doesn't like the eye things, which Lucia Fulci seems to really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
So they're a bit squishy icky. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mentioned that I hadn't seen Halloween, and she said, "Oh, it's really good. You should pick that for the podcast." So I did, and I've seen it. And I don't know if I need to see all of them, but I definitely enjoyed this one.
I don't know about seeing all of them. Like,
No,
I haven't seen all of them, but my experience is like with Nightmare on Elm Street, right? And probably Friday the 13th and Halloween, like the basics of those like horror classics or whatever. The multitude of sequels afterwards could just be completely ignored.
Yeah, yeah, they can. They really can. I mean, I'd suggest giving Season of the Witch a go, which is Halloween 3.
Because I've heard of Silver Shamrocks, and that's from that, isn't it? I think we might have said that on the last podcast.
And because it has nothing to do with Michael Myers.
Which would probably be refreshing, because I saw that apparently there's been a trailer released very recently, as of this recording, for a new Halloween film. I think it is actually supposed to be a continuation rather than a reboot.
It's a sequel to the first one, and it's completely retconned everything.
Yeah,
which I'm fully on board with.
Yeah, at this point, that seems like a very sensible idea.
Yeah, they even poke in the trailer. There's a bit where they poke fun at even the second one.
Okay.
Where one of the characters says, "Oh, that's Laurie Strode. You know, she survived the attack from Michael Myers, and all that." And someone says, "Well, didn't it turn out that she was his brother?" And she goes, "No, that's just some stupid story someone came up with," or something like that.
Nice.
They're like, "Fuck the sequels," because in later sequels they try to explain why he's insane and why he's a murderer. It's like, "Oh, it's because of a pagan cult." Like, fuck off with that. Like the Thorn cult, and he's got a tattoo on his arm. The first time we've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Like, not like you're telling me that his fucking doctor wasn't like examining, going, "Gee, what the fuck is that tattoo on your arm?" Like, or like gonna go and go to the library. Like, the Thorn cult. That was the symbol.
Hasn't he been incarcerated since he was like 6?
Yeah, he would have to have that tattoo before he was 6. So any doctor would be like, "Why does this kid have a tattoo?"
He got a press-on transfer.
Yeah.
No, he's just crazy. Like, ignore the tattoo.
Thor cult.
And it was
Forever.
so lame. And they were like, "Oh, Laurie Strode's his sister, and the reason he tried to kill her was because he needs to kill his family for the cult." Like, so why does he kill other people? That makes. That's like, yeah, I've got to do this thing, otherwise the world goes to shit or something. But I'll just kill these other people first, and then, damn it, she got away.
Yeah.
And also, it takes away the terror of the first movie, because it's like, hey, you were just unlucky. You're in the wrong place at the wrong fucking time, okay?
Yeah. I mean, because when we were watching this movie, I kind of felt like that. Like, one of the good things about it is that it felt like a real scenario. Like, there wasn't like a magic man. It was just a crazy man. And he just sort of took advantage of open doors, and he knew a little bit of things about how to get in and out of houses and then stab people to death and spook them and that kind of stuff. Exactly. So it wasn't like a Friday the 13th, I'm invading your nightmares, or Jason who can take so much damage. Incredible amounts of damage.
The only thing that came close is his propensity to take bullets like a champ.
Yeah.
But apart from that...
Yeah, at the end. But that's like my only thing against it, because it ruins the whole thing. Because like he gets stabbed, he gets shot, he falls out of a window, and then he's not there at the end. And it's like, come on. There's nothing in this movie that states he's in any way supernatural. So let's not do that shit.
I agree with you. However, when we get there, we'll talk about it. I do think the ending's quite cool.
Yeah,
it's cool despite that. But yeah, that's the thing. Is like there's two characters that he kills later on. That the only reason he kills them is because they go to the house. Like, they just happen to go there.
Yeah. Because
one of them's a friend of one of the Arrow characters he's killed, and they go and he kills them. If they didn't go, he wouldn't have got them. It's not because of some mystical, magical fucking cult.
Yeah.
Like, you got to kill your offspring. Like,
I mean, it's kind of a joke. And I was reading the Wikipedia page, and apparently John Carpenter doesn't like any of these reads of the film. He says they're kind of like bollocks, and he's probably right. But he does seem to have like a hard-on for stopping premarital sex. Like, he shuts that shit down.
Yeah.
He's like the ultimate cop block.
It's true.
Not in whose house is this? Not in this guy's house.
From the age of 6, he's like, oh, my sister's just had sex. Yeah, I stab.
And you know what, though? You know what's even worse?
No, it was a cult that made him do it.
He was 6. Okay, if you had a 6-year-old come at you with a knife, you could stop them. You could stop them.
Yeah.
You could stop them, and even if they stabbed you, they wouldn't stab very deep, so you could still stop them. It would not be impossible. Like, ever since, like, that fucking Chucky movie, which I've never seen, but it's like a doll stabs people to death. It's like, it's a fucking doll. How could this doll possibly stab anyone to death? It has no muscle tissue. I don't care how magical it is.
It's voodoo, son.
Yeah. Voodoo. Somebody stuffed him with herbs.
Hey, look, Brad Dourif's badass, alright? You don't go against Brad Dourif, because he's fucking awesome.
Who's that?
Brad Dourif. He's the voice of Chucky.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the voice of Chucky. He's a fantastic character actor. He was Billy Bats in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He was the Doctor in Deadwood. He's a great character actor, and he always just pops up in everything, and he's so fucking good.
Okay.
And it's such a travesty that he's never really been like this big fucking star. He was in The Exorcist 3. He was the Gemini killer in that. He's one of the crazy doctors in Alien Resurrection. He's like one of the only good things about that fucking movie. He's one of these actors that's really solid. He's like Lance Henriksen.
Yeah.
And Lance Henriksen's really fucking good, but he just keeps popping up on all this trash.
Bishop from Aliens?
Yes, Bishop from Aliens, and he's in Pumpkinhead as well, which we should probably watch at some point because Pumpkin's great. Lance Henriksen is a great actor that keeps just popping up in B movies. Keeps getting work, but again, you're just like, how is this guy not bigger? He's fucking great. Yeah. But Child's Play 1's quite entertaining, actually.
I've not seen it, but I have a friend who does a podcast on movies. His name is Stuart, and he probably won't be listening, but if you are Stuart, here's a shout out for you. His podcast is called The Ken and Stu Show, because it's him and a guy called Ken, and they're both nice chaps. But they did an episode about, I think it was either horror movies, or it might have been Child's Play in particular. And
it's gimmick infringement.
Stuart does a really good impression of a part of the... presuming it is an actual part of the movie. If not, it's just... I don't know, that makes it funnier. But he just goes like... There's a bit at the end where Chucky's going, "You filthy fucking slut, you fucking whore."
Yeah. I'll fucking kill you!
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like when the jig is up. It's actually a really cool moment where she's getting a bit creeped out by the doll, and I don't even want to say it just in case it spoils it, but she figures something out. And she's like looking at the doll, and his head just turns around and he's like, "I'll fucking kill you, you whore!" And like, ah!
Yeah.
Yeah, so every time someone says Child's Play to me, like a voice in my head, my friend Stuart, starts going, "You filthy slut, you fucking whore." Like Pavlovic response.
Yeah.
It's a bit scary.
It's a fun movie. It's got a decent cast as well. It's got what's his name? Chris Sarandon, I think. He's the voice of Jack Skellington. He's a really good character actor as well, actually, and he's the vampire in Fright Night. If you've ever seen Fright Night before, not the shite remake, the original. He's the vampire. In that, he's like a detective in Child's Play. He's a really good character actor. Prince or King, yes, Prince Pumpin. What's his name? The wimpy prince in The Princess Bride.
Oh,
fuck!
Yeah,
is his character's name?
I know who you mean.
I mean, I know who you're talking about, but yeah, I don't remember his name.
Prince Pumperdink. It's terrible. It's been so many years since I've seen The Princess Bride. Oh, fuck's sake! But yeah, he's in that as well. He's again, since Child's Play's got like two really good character actors in a really stupid movie about a voodoo possessed doll.
Yeah, it's Prince Humperdinck.
Prince Humperdinck. That's it. My memory serves me somewhat well.
Well,
but,
speaking of good character actors who pop up in a lot of stuff, and getting us back to Halloween as well, I knew before I picked the movie, I was looking at the movie and about it before I decided to make it my choice, and I saw that Donald Pleasance was in it, I really enjoy him as an actor, and most people know him for, I think he played Blofeld in one of the Bond movies.
Yes, he did.
But I got introduced to him, I think on my film studies course, we watched a film called Cul-de-sac from the 60s. Like, basically, film studies is like, you very occasionally get to watch like a mainstream film, but most of them are just like kind of 2-hour things that go on forever, and people just have sex and talk and nothing happens.
And it's all pretentious, yeah.
Yeah, and Cul-de-sac was kind of one of those, but Donald Pleasance was very interesting in it, so I was very happy to see him in this, and I really enjoyed his performance, actually. I think he brought a tremendous sense of gravity, and his kind of like, although literally every scene turns into him kind of going, the darkness of the night is in the heart of us all, and we're all, it just monologues about like evil and pure evil and all that kind of stuff. And it does get a bit silly in kind of a tongue-in-cheek way, but he plays it straight every time, and there's tremendous gravity behind his performance that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, and that's the thing is because it's because we were watching it, and there's a lot of tropes in it, but at the same time you have to remember that this and Black Christmas came out just before Halloween, I think. But Black Christmas and Halloween are the two films that are really seen as the movies that popularised the slasher genre and like really kickstarted everything.
Yeah.
What came in, like, obviously so many copycats in the 80s. Like, even fucking Friday the 13th is pretty much not a clone of Halloween, but it takes a lot of elements from it.
Yeah.
But they popularised it, and again, like, Donald Pleasance's character of Dr. Loomis has been lampooned so many times now. But when this came out, there wasn't really a character like it, and it's always a clever, some people might say lazy way to get some kind of exposition across about the killer or a character without having the movie to be like 2 hours long.
Right.
Rob Zombie. And having us try and sympathise, because that's what Rob Zombie did, was try and make us feel bad for Michael Myers, which makes no fucking sense. Like, I feel sorry for the 7-foot psychopath that strangles people. Yeah, he had a bad childhood. Like, get in fucking line. Your mum used to shout at you. Oh no, you were bullied at school. No, it's just so sad. But yeah, it's great because like every time he was on screen and he'd be delivering his lines, like no matter how corny they were, like he was such a fucking talented actor that every single word you were just hanging on, like you're just watching him, and like he really like. I believe, he's terrified of Michael Myers. Like that's why he tried to keep him locked up.
I believe that he was scared. Like on at least 2 occasions, the policeman officer guy, I think I can't remember what his name was.
Police chief officer guy.
Police chief officer guy. He was
the
father of one of the girls, wasn't he? Was it Annie?
Yeah, Annie. Yeah, and that's he doesn't find out that she's dead either.
But yeah.
And he's not okay.
On two separate occasions, he kind of comes up to Dr. Loomis and says, I don't know what this is all about. We better go home. Fuck this. And Loomis goes like, monologue. And then like he goes, okay, all right then.
Yeah.
Fine. You clearly are shit scared of him.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't doing anything else anyway, as a police chief. He was just like, I just want to go home, watch some TV. I'm going to miss Matlock again tonight.
It's like, come on, they're showing The Thing from Another World and fucking Forbidden Planet. Come on, I want to watch some Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah. But instead, he's on like a wild goose chase for somebody who may have stole a car. But that was one of the cool things in the movie, though, because they did a lot of good like scenes. Like there's that one where they're at the hardware store. Loomis, I guess, is the doctor's name, talking to the police chief officer man, and like he's looking over here, car's pulling up, and then like he's looking over this way, and the car keeps going that way, and he just never sees his own car being driven right next to him by Michael Myers driving around the city. I was just like, that's kind of cool. I like that.
It's great, and what's really cool about that scene is there's not like this great big orchestral string of like, he's there.
I love it when they take the shit out.
You go, that's oh my god, that he's right there in the car. And it's like, and there it goes. Like he just unlucky, like he just got away.
What was that movie we first saw where it was like a curse was following somebody and had to get passed off by sex?
Oh, It Follows.
It Follows. And somebody said it was a John Carpenter style film. Yeah. And now I get it, because
same
after
here.
seeing
just like
that
the locale, the look, everything. Yeah.
I had the exact same experience, and it was even more interesting when I went on the IMDb trivia page for Halloween, and I saw that apparently when they were first screening the movie, there was a little to no music in it, and someone said that it's not scary because there's no music. So John Carpenter literally went and did the music himself, and it's credited in the movie to, I can't remember the name, but it's something orchestra, and apparently that's a place where he used to live or something. But it's actually all just him.
And then from that point on, he did basically all of every score for his movie. I think he didn't do the thing on his own. He worked with Ennio Morricone, which is so random because Ennio Morricone is like this really like highly regarded composer who's done
absolutely
like some fantastic work. I think he did the score to Once Upon a Time in America, which is like one of my favorite movies. And he's like, I did the music to the thing with John Carpenter. Like, what the fuck?
Incidentally,
but yeah,
the thing shows
great.
up in this, the original, so it's kind of like an interesting precursor.
Yeah,
but
like 10 years later.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say about the music is I watched this film with closed captions on because I couldn't make out all of the dialogue, so it was my first time doing this, and I thought, I'll give it a go. And the different phrases for music is quite interesting. Like, basically, I wrote down the ones that kind of stuck out to me. So, grating piano music, unsettling piano music, chilling piano music, foreboding piano music, abrasive synth,
abrasive synth,
dark piano music, haunting piano music, tense piano music.
Cool.
So yeah.
It's like this, but it's just like one score.
Yeah, and quite often it's the same kind of like main melody or tune as well. It's just kind of like done in different styles.
But like, we can't put the same caption in like twice.
I think the guy who had the job kind of had a bit of fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like spooky woo music. Spooky piano music. Woo piano music. Piano music. Piano music.
But it blows my mind, that fact about the putting the music in after someone said that there wasn't no music to begin with or very little music, because the music felt to me like it was kind of the star of the show. Like, although Michael Myers is he goes on to be this kind of iconic thing and what have you. I feel like the music, I don't know, it kind of sets the atmosphere. You know how we were talking about It Follows, and apparently it was being, sort of like parallels were being drawn with John Carpenter because of the way the music was in that film and how the music was in John Carpenter films. I feel like, it was very iconic. Like, when you watch something very old like this, it's hard to watch it with a kind of an open mind, not bearing in mind what happened. Because if this was a little film called Halloween that no one really cared about and it was obscure and we were kind of digging it out to watch it, I still think I feel like I would have had the same reaction to the music, in that the music really set the scene for me.
No, it does. It really does help, because there's a lot of long lingering shots anyway, and a lot of like POV shots. Like, I was really impressed, especially for its time. There's that one shot where, especially when he's going up the stairs and then going down the stairs, like that for like 1978, that must have been a bit of a ball ache to plan. All the cables everywhere, like, and keeping the camera that steady as well. So, but no, the music really, really does help. It's one of the things that everyone there's two things people will always remember from the Halloween series: is the theme song itself, even just like the main one, and the image of Michael Myers in full costume with the work clothes and the William Shatner mask that's painted white.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Which obviously is well known. Yes, it's a William Shatner mask that they just painted white.
Isn't that crazy? Because they were really restricted by their budget, so they went out and got this. They tried a couple masks, but basically, in the end, like a $2 mask and a little bit of paint. It's crazy.
It looks great as well.
Yeah.
Especially
it looks
because
really ghostly, and I also like
it's
how
too big as well.
Yeah, and I also like how when Michael is on screen, but it's not Michael revealed the one time that his mask comes off, they refer to it as the shape.
Yeah,
which is just you don't have to do that, but it's an extra layer of kind of
Well, it's great. It's great because it works like with the way Loomis is describing him as well. It makes sense because like that isn't a person anymore. He's just this thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. He just wants to kill, and that's what's really really scary about him is that it's not personal. He's not like, I was abused as a child and now it's my turn.
Right.
Your parents set me on fire, bitch. You know, it's not like Freddy Krueger who is getting revenge. It's not like Amanda Krueger. Not Amanda Krueger, sorry. I can't remember her name. The Mrs. Voorhees in Friday the 13th, or Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm doing this because of this, and the camp counselors didn't look after my son. Sorry, spoilers. Or Jason's like, I hate sex because that's how I drowned, and then didn't drown.
He was drowning
and I was
in
abused
pussy.
by kids.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
And he's like, oh, and I was drowned. So he attacks people. Michael Myers is just, there's nothing there. Like even when the reveal at the end, when the parents take his mask off, there's just this blank expression. Like he's just this evil. This thing, that this force of nature, this shape.
Yeah, and
that thing was interesting, but it really did make me laugh when they kind of like stand there just looking at him.
Yes.
And the camera pans up, and it takes forever, and they're just. I'm like, maybe the bloody knife. Maybe someone needs help. No, we're just gonna stare at him.
You could probably still save her. You know.
Quick, get in there, CPR.
Yeah.
Call an ambulance.
They're just like, is this even our kid?
It's the 70s. They're still quick. It's like, Michael, this isn't your house.
Yeah. What are you doing here? Go home. Bring that knife with you. That's not even our knife. We know it's not ours.
I think one of my favourite things is, again, it's nothing personal. He just does it because he clearly enjoys killing. But what's really creepy is that he's just very, very patient. And even when you hear him breathing, obviously there's great moments where you can hear him breathing in the mask, and it's very controlled, very deliberate, calm breathing. And it's not until he starts strangling someone that he starts to breathe very heavily and sounds very excited.
Yeah.
He's like grunting, and he just really likes killing people.
Yeah.
That's kind of unsettling.
Yeah,
he just
really likes to do.
enjoys it. Yeah. Or when he kills, I think the guy's name's Scott. The guy with the massive, amazing 70s glasses. And he it's very comically kind of pins him to the wall, but it's the way it's shot, it's not overly graphic, which works, which helps. And he just pins him, and this way he just kind of stands there and he's just like observing his work. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, the way he's looking is almost like a dog. When a dog like tilts its head, it's like, oh yeah, I like that. And then he has the great plan of, now I'm gonna fuck with her.
Yeah, I love that.
What I'll do is, and again, like, because he never talks, it's like he's obviously gone right. So she's upstairs. I'm gonna grab that sheet. I'm gonna cut some holes in the eyes. Put his glasses on when the sheet's over my head, and I'm gonna walk in the room and just stare at her.
That's fucked up, Michael.
Like, Jesus Christ, Michael, that's pretty crazy. Yeah. Why are you doing this?
You just know, like, he's going, ha, ha, ha.
He's like, and that makes it unsettling. He's like, this is great. This is really great. It's gonna scare the shit out of her. Because that's great. Like, yeah, let's think, like, because it opens initially, and my reaction is always just to laugh because it's a really really funny visual, and my girlfriend was laughing as well. But what's so good about that scene is that it's funny, and then it stops being funny.
Yeah,
because he's just standing there, and and you can't see his eyes, and he's still standing like, okay, this isn't funny anymore. That would actually really creep me out if someone just walked into my bedroom like that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Can you stop? Please stop. Please stop it.
See,
and it's not until she turns her back to him that he then starts to walk in, and he's like, "Now I'm going to throttle you with the phone line, the phone cable."
See, that's the thing. Like, if someone were to walk into my room like that, and I'm not saying, "Oh, I'm such a badass, super tough." I mean, I'd entertain it probably for like 4 or 5 minutes. Like, yeah, okay, you're standing there, ha ha ha. But after that, it's like, you know what? If you don't pull that shit off right now, I'm going to kick the shit out of you. I'm getting up out of bed. I'm not wearing anything. I'm getting up out of bed. I'm going to pick up a fucking sword or something, and it's going to go in you. Do you understand me? I'm going to remove your life.
It's like, stop it. And then it still doesn't move. You're like, please leave. Please go away.
I was just kidding about before. I wasn't really good. I'm not going to hurt you, but I'll just turn around and go away.
That's kind of what I like.
Look, I've got some Ben & Jerry's in the freezer. Just take it.
Yeah, it's my favorite. You'll hurt me really bad if you take the Ben & Jerry's.
I like those kind of weird, creepy touches about Michael, though, because there's another bit that really that made me chuckle, because earlier on in the movie, when he's driving past the girls as they're walking, he's driving quite fast, and one of them shouts out, "Speed kills," and like literally out loud, I said, "Bitch, what the fuck did you just say?" And the car stopped. It's like...
And I love that. It's like, it's almost like he nearly got a rise out of him. He's like, no, don't rise to it, Michael.
Be the big man, Michael. Be the bigger 7-foot man.
Right.
Walk away.
You'll get her later. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and part of me wonders, like, maybe that's why
everything would be great.
Yeah. Part of me wonders, like, maybe if that's why he targets her first.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, no, I'm gonna fucking get you later.
I don't stand for that shit.
Yeah, I'll get you on my terms later on.
I'm going to choke you in your car, bitch. No, speeding kills. We'll see about that.
You won't even be moving. There'll be no speed at all. You'll just be dead.
And, like, the build-up, I know we're, like, skipping ahead, but the build-up to Annie's death, I love, because he just, like, he's continuously just kind of fucking with her for a while. Like, there's...
You think something's going to happen when she's hanging out the window?
Yeah, and it doesn't. Because he's like, I'm going to lock the door. And I'm just going to make you feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I might kill you now. No, I've still got time. Let's do it later. But the build-up's great when... Because it's a really small detail that the character doesn't even make a point of bringing up. She obviously goes to a car and she's like, fucking car's locked. She goes and get her keys. And when she comes back, the car door is unlocked before she does anything. She just like...
I
just
noticed
does
that.
it
She kind of gives it a look and she's like...
She goes, eh.
And then she goes...
She goes, oh. And she goes in. And it's that great moment. She sat there and then she looks at the windscreen. She's like, and she wipes it, and it's at that point you go, oh fuck, he's in the car, because obviously all the steam inside the car.
Yeah.
And she realizes as well. There's that moment where she you can see she's working it out, but by that point it's too late. And he's just like, and it's not like in a more traditional slash movie now where he like stabs her in the back of the head and blood sprays everywhere, or like stabs her in the heart. He strangles her one-handed. And it just keeps going. And she's just struggling and screaming and trying to scream. And he just keeps doing it. He's doing it one-handed. It's like, this is really uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing it. There's nothing grace. There's no grace about it. He's just strangling her because that's just how he wanted to do it, I guess. As he breathes heavily and starts groaning and is clearly enjoying it. Like, it's kind of uncomfortable. But you should feel uncomfortable. Yeah, like, you're like, Jesus Christ. Like, okay, yeah, she's going to be dead soon, right?
No.
Oh fuck, it's still going on, and then she just kind of slumps. And you're like, thank fuck, that's over.
Yeah.
It's great, like, because I think like Michael Myers, like after that was always like, oh, he's the guy with the knife, right? Like Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees has got the machete. Michael Myers has got the kitchen knife. And, like, he kills two people with a kitchen knife all movie.
Yeah.
And the rest he strangles. He like throttles them in some way. He kills a dog.
That was that's a shame.
Dickhead.
Yeah.
Kills a dog. He strangles Annie. He throttles. I can't remember the other character's name now. It's Annie. Linda.
Oh, okay. I was like, who cares?
He strangles. He strangles her. And he probably strangles because when he gets the dude's overalls, like the work overalls, he probably just strangles him as well.
Yeah. He didn't leave
so, like,
with a knife or anything.
No, like, and it's just like, hey, he kills two people with a knife. Like, he's not just the guy with the knife,
right?
Which is the problem whenever any kind of slasher villain gets popular. They go, yeah, he just uses a machete. Like, Jason's used all kind of weapons to kill people. Freddy Krueger after like the first one, he like rarely uses the claw. He like stabs someone once in I think he stabs, but there's like he does like lots of creative ways to kill people as it goes on. It's the same with Michael Myers. Like, he just throttles them in this one. Like, he like kills two people with a knife and then just strangles the rest, which is really intimate and a very disturbing way to kill someone, because you feel I imagine you feel the life leaving their body as well.
I'm not gonna stop.
And he would like
this
that.
Is it. This is how you're gonna go.
Yeah, it's like
just
my hand, like, and I'm gonna feel like your pulse stop, and that's when I know you're dead.
Yeah, just calm down.
Yeah, that's not scary.
Just calm down. Let it happen.
It reminds me of one of my favourite things in Alien Isolation is when the shitty androids who they're like the knockoff of the Wayne and Tiny ones. Like you get the documents as you like, yeah, this company like their androids are shit compared to Wayne and Tiny. Like, have you seen their faces? Like they're creepy, right? Mm-hmm. And because they don't say anything until they're right on top of you, so you'll just be like scoping around, and all of a sudden like the camera like spins around, they're like throttling you, and they'll just be going, I was like, you're becoming hysterical. Please calm down. I'm like, ah. It's like that's nasty. That's a bad way to go. But
I do want to mention one thing about Halloween though, because like when I was watching it, and I don't know, with horror movies, there's always like that one stupid thing that shouldn't have happened that sets off the whole movie. And the one stupid thing is like Dr. Loomis, a nurse driving to insane asylum to, I guess, pick up Michael Myers or something, or go make sure he's still there or something. But then like they just see all the crazy people in the fields, and it's like, oh no, there's been a breakout or something. And then like someone's on top of the car, like hitting the roof, and the nurse is just like,
looks out.
Let me roll down the window.
Yeah,
what's going on here?
That is one thing I'm like,
you know.
But that
hello.
That's how Michael Myers gets the car. If you didn't get the car,
that whole scene is kind of low key hilarious though, because they turn up and there are all these people like in gowns. It's like you're expecting the orderlies at the top to be like, "Oh, we let them out every Halloween as a joke." Enjoy.
Well, it's like when there's a line where the nurse says, "Since when did they start letting them roam the ground?" It's like midnight.
Out for a stroll.
Yeah.
But
A, listen to yourself. B, it's midnight.
Are you even really a nurse? Who the fuck are you?
Michael Myers, is that you? Just takes them. Oh, Michael! I'm sorry, Dr. Loomis. Go back in yourself. I'm sorry. I thought it'd be funny. Get that sheet off your head.
Whose glasses are those?
Sorry. Michael.
You don't need those.
That's why he really hates him, because all the practical jokes. It's like, it's not funny, Michael.
Yeah.
No one understands my humor.
It's like Michael Myers is Yogi Bear and Dr. Loomis is the park ranger.
Put the mask down, Michael.
Where'd you get that picnic basket,
Dr.
Michael?
Oh, Michael Myers.
Yeah, especially later on when it's like, when Jamie Lee Curtis's character, what's her name again? Can't remember.
Laurie Strode.
Her name doesn't matter. Straight up.
When Laurie Strode happens upon his kind of like his little death room, where like flair for the dramatic, he's stolen his sister's gravestone and kind of laid it on the bed, and it's like open the cupboard and it's like ooh, and like Linda was like cross-eyed, like it was just Michael.
It's like when he's like, yeah, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the headstone on the bed and I'm gonna lay her there, and then when someone finds it, it's gonna be really funny.
Yeah.
Like he's like, you take way too much interest in this, Michael. Can't you just be like other slasher villains that just kill people and fuck off?
And like Michael wasn't in that.
You're creeping me out, dude.
Like I don't remember. It's been like a couple weeks since I've seen this movie now.
Well, no, he's just kind of like stood there waiting for someone.
Yeah. For someone to find.
Well, he's just and he's like, they're gonna find it and then I'm gonna kill them. And that's one of my favorite shots. A lot of my favorite shots are when he's just stood there, like But there's that one where Laurie finds them and she's freaking out and she like falls back and you can see the door behind her is dark and then his face just like appears. And I remember reading somewhere that he doesn't like step into it. It was to like simulate like your eyes adjusting. So like he was always stood there, and it's just like you like the light only just like gradually like you can only eventually like gradually see his face. It's like that's scarier than him just stepping out. Is the fact that he was just stood there the whole time just watching. And just waiting. It's like she's gonna fall back, and when she does, then I'm gonna go for it. And it's gonna be great, and I'm gonna strangle her as well. Or even when he's fucking with Annie, and she goes back into the kitchen to phone. I think it's Laurie. She goes to phone Laurie, and she leaves the door open. She walks across, and then he's just stood in the doorway staring. Yeah, not doing anything. And then she walks back again, and he's gone. That's great. That's so much scarier as well. And there's no orchestral sting or big jump scare, and it's way more unsettling. Why is he just stood there? Why isn't he just like killing her now? Why is he doing this? Right. And it's great because it works into the whole you can't understand him. Like he just does it.
He has a flair for the dramatic.
And again, why does he do it?
I'm imagining him with kind of Goldman's laugh going ha ha ha.
She's going to be scared.
Yeah.
Again, and lesser filmmakers and writers have done this, and they've tried to do something similar with characters. This shows that you can do. They're just crazy. Well, but in most ones, it's just like, I'm just crazy. I'm gonna stab you, because they talk and they monologue and they're like, I just enjoy the blood. And you're like, you're cartoony now. Whereas this, it is a case of he's just fucking crazy and he just enjoys killing people. But because there's no big monologues of how he loves it and I'm an artist, and all this, it's far creepier. Yeah, because it's like, no, he is just crazy, and because he's not maniacally laughing and monologuing and going on these big tangents when he's got the main character dead to rights, you believe it far more because he just is just doing things, and there's not a lot of logic to it either.
Yeah. I think even in the most like powerful evil villains, if they can talk and they can listen, then there's kind of the idea of somehow we could reach them. Maybe there's some way to prevent this. And that's why I think things like Aliens and the Predator and everything else kind of work, because there is no reasoning, and it's kind of it's funny actually. I said Aliens and the Predator because it's kind of like that animalistic kind of and he has like that animal. Yeah, definitely. He is stalking prey.
Yeah, like even when, like I said earlier, when he's inspecting his handiwork, when he pins the guy to the cupboard, and he's just looking at him like a dog, like he's tilting his head from side to side. Like he's an animal, and say like sharks just fucking eat people and eat things because they're hungry. It's nothing personal. They're just gonna eat your face.
Yeah. It's made of meat
and shit you out. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But it's just it holds up really well.
Yeah, it does.
And I'm glad it still holds up really well.
Cinematography-wise, it holds up really well. Music-wise, it holds up really well. It holds on to better ideas that we haven't really improved on in modern cinema, except for things like It Follows and other style of movies like that. But you know, and I know that you guys have said at least once that oh shit, what was it called? I should have loaded this in my brain before I started talking.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whoever's name it is.
No, it wasn't who. It's the movie. The name of the movie. Shit. Okay, it was a movie about a guy who was psychic, but it was blocked for like so many years. They had like a couple of amateur Ghostbusters and a psychic, and he was in a house that was it was a haunted house. He had to go save his son.
Oh, Insidious.
Okay.
Insidious. Yeah.
Now, when we did that movie, my number one complaint was the orchestral stings that they kept throwing in there. It's like, brunk, brunk, brunk. Like, I watched that movie at 5 volume out of 100 because the orchestral stings were so loud that it's like it would just ruin the movie. 5 volume with subtitles because I couldn't stand that movie outside of that. And this movie doesn't do that. It's just a perfectly scary movie. It isn't even like a horrifying movie to watch. It's just more of like a story. Like almost a thriller, you know, which is like to me a better style of horror movie because you're trying to figure it out as opposed to just like watching death after death after death after death after death, you know. So like all in all, this movie does hold up in the modern day, and it should be something people could learn from if they're going to make horror movies.
And also, and also it does something very important. Like, despite the fact that like some of the characters might be a bit bratty, you know, I believe they're teenagers. Yeah. They're also still very likable. They also talk like teenagers as well.
Even though they're obviously like,
where they're like kind of like winding each other up. And, like when Annie's kind of like she's kind of making fun of Laurie. She's like, "Oh, you got a crush on Ben Tramer." It's like that's what kids are like. That's what teenagers are like. But they're still likable. I didn't want to see these characters die horribly. That's the problem with later sequels, and that's one of the major fucking problems I've always had with Friday the 13th. The characters are all so inherently fucking annoying. Mm-hmm. As soon as Jason kills him, you go, "Yay! Wait,
it's done."
I shouldn't really be cheering.
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
I'm like, should I be cheering?
That's not a horror movie. Then you're just sort of like,
it's a cartoon.
Yeah, it's a cartoon with blood. It
becomes a cartoon. It becomes a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Yeah, you're like, how's Tom gonna get hurt this time? Oh, that Tom, he's so funny. Yeah. You're like, oh, Jason, he just like he cut the guy's head off. Oh, that's so awesome. Like, yeah, but it's not scary. Right. I'm not like going, oh my god, Jason Voorhees just chopped that guy's head off. It's so scary. I'm going, that's awesome.
At that point, it's just kind of like a twisted
comedy
catharsis as well.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like,
which is
I hate these
Which is
people, so I
why-
don't mind seeing them getting chopped up. However,
Yeah, which is why Friday the 13th Part 6, which is Jason Lives, which is the second sequel after the final chapter.
oh man, I love the 80s and 90s.
Friday the 13th Part 6 is actually really fun. It's where he comes back as like a super zombie. But the thing is, it's so tongue-in-cheek, and the guy, the director and the screenwriter understood that it had gotten really silly, and they kind of have fun with it. And it's supposed to be funny. But again, the main character is really intense. It stars Tom Matthews, who was Freddy in Return of the Living Dead, one of the guys that gets doused with the gas and slowly turns into a zombie.
Oh, right.
He plays Tommy Jarvis, all grown up. Tommy Jarvis was a character in the final chapter, played by Corey Feldman, and he's really likable in it. And the it's really gory. It still retains enough of the Friday the 13th elements that worked, but it's funny. Like it knows it's silly in places, and it just has fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, that's probably the best one. That and the final chapter are two of the best ones. Final chapter genuinely has likable teenage characters that you don't want to see die, whereas the rest are just kind of all fucking annoying. And 6 is just the screenwriter and the director going, let's just have fun and do stupid things. Yeah. Like, the first kill is he punches a hole through a guy's chest. And you're like, this is the kind of movie this is going to be. And then the credits start, and it's like James Bond, where he walks onto a black backdrop, and then slices the camera, and blood comes out everywhere. It's like, this is the kind of film this is going to be. Okay, this is going to be stupid. Yeah. Those ones are good. The rest are just kind of dog shit.
Yeah. Well, after five,
except the first one,
five movies, I think you can kind of just swing for the fences no matter what you do. People are going to come in and watch it. You've got that brand loyalty now,
Yeah, well, it's so silly. Like, the kill of Jason in the final chapter, and then he comes back to life 2 movies later. Halloween 2 ends with Michael Myers blowing up after he's been shot in both of his eyes.
Sorry.
And then in part 4 he's just like, oh, his skin's a bit burnt. Like, he blew up.
Yeah.
And he came out walking on fire. He's not going to just skin's a bit singed. Fuck that. At least with Friday the 3rd, not Friday the 3rd, at least with Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm getting all mixed up now.
It's easy to do.
At least with that, he always was a supernatural villain.
Yeah.
So him coming back it was silly anyway, because how are they actually going to kill this motherfucker? But you kind of forgave it more because he was always supernatural.
Right.
And, it's like he was always supernatural, and they always try to come up with some creative way to do it. The second one is Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 is a really interesting movie because it's when it came out in the 80s, and there's a lot of homoerotic undertones in it.
Oh yeah?
And it wasn't until about a good while afterwards that the director came and went, yeah, that was intentional. It's like, okay then. And then you watch it back knowing that, and you pick up on it a lot more going, yeah, okay, yeah. No, yeah, okay, that's very, that's very homoerotic. Yeah, oh, yeah, okay, cool, yeah. There's a man inside of me that wants to come out and take control of me. I don't want him to do it. I'm going to go over to my best friend's house, who's half naked, and ask to stay in his room with him.
Except that
okay then.
That's the only problem I have with the movie.
Although the ending is very stupid, but no, Michael Myers is one of the classic horror slasher villains, just because he's not. If you ignore all the silly sequels, he's not supernatural. He's just a dude who really likes killing people.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been wearing a bulletproof vest. Who fucking knows?
Well, one thing I really did like, the one thing I really did like is that you don't see, well, I mean, obviously you see him as a child, but as an adult, you don't see his face at all, except for one brief moment at the end, and it's just enough to go, yeah, he's just an ordinary person. Because
even then, there's I like the small detail though of that, because obviously she hits him in the eye with the. She's in the eye with the coat hanger. She hits him in the face with it and then grabs his knife. There's that really nice little detail, when she rips his mask off. His eyes all swollen, it's all swollen shut. but then still, like, he's just staring blankly. He's like, oh no. He's like, no. He's like, oh no, I've got to put my mask back on. It's like, oh no, I'm just putting it on. Okay, cool now. Oh, should have been shot.
I'm like, no, I gotta get back to work. No
Michael,
time for breaks.
bang, bang, bang. Yeah, fuck you, Michael. Oh shit, he's gone. Shit. I guess I'm fucked.
Yeah. Bang, 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 Michael. I'm a doctor. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, I had a little chuckle when he pulled his pistol out.
I do like that though, because there is that trope in horror where the doctor's like got a gun, or like this civilian's got a gun, and the police never mention it, but he just goes, "Oh no, I've got a permit for it," and the sheriff's like, "It's okay, all right, it's fine. You're clearly." I think that's the moment where he kind of believes him. He's like, "Okay, you are clearly spooked."
Yeah.
For you to be carrying a gun around, and it's like he doesn't believe him, but he's like, "Okay, I'm going to humour you because you're genuinely freaked out. I'll look into it." Okay. Oh shit, my daughter's dead.
Yeah. That's the thing too. It's like his daughter dies and a couple of the other kids die, but not enough people to like make like a widespread like outbreak or chaos or insanity on that night. So it's like the following morning when she doesn't come home, he's gonna be like, "What the fuck happened to her?"
Yeah, like
you know,
it's not too
and like it's
too
kind of
often
a
you think about
perfect
it.
setup for a sequel in a way, especially if they had twisted it. And I don't know if they did because I never saw the movie. If they twisted towards like, is Dr. Loomis the guy who's killing people because he's the only one I know existed? You know what I'm saying? That would have been a great sequel because we know that Michael Myers fell out of a window and then just disappeared into the ether because that's what he does apparently. Supernatural guy, and then he did give Loomis a gun. Though nobody died from gun wounds. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck? Anyway.
That's a lot of shows like, and then he took his mask off and he was this old British guy, and then he like took the bullets off and put a jacket on, started shooting and nothing.
No,
and told me it was the boogeyman.
He let Michael Myers go on purpose, and Michael Myers' first response was to run to the town he knew Loomis would be terrorizing, to warn all of the girls.
Warn them all. He's gonna kill
You
you
have to
like
listen.
This. He's gonna
You
kill
have to
you like
listen to
this.
me.
Do you understand?
He'll strangle you.
Why aren't you hit? Are you breathing?
Hello?
Oh shit!
Didn't you get the sheet thing? Didn't the sheet thing explain everything?
You'll look like this. You're gonna be a ghost if you don't stop.
This'll be you.
Look,
Listen to me.
Your boyfriend is already dead. I'm wearing his glasses. Like Michael Myers is a terrible mute. He's just doing his best. He can't write. He can't read. Can't make sounds. He's just like, I'm trying to pantomime your death.
So he's like trying to hide from Dr. Loomis in that house in the cupboard, and then I think the guy's name's Scott opens. He's like, "Ah, Dr. Loomis, stab!"
That wasn't Dr.
He's not
Loomis.
Dr. Loomis. Oh shit! I better hide him. I hope no one finds it.
Yeah, I'll be in big trouble.
No, it's like he's trying to like break into the closet at the end to get stolen. He's like, "Do you understand? This is crazy guy." I'm like, "Ah!"
Bitch, why'd you stab me in the eye?
Oh
See,
my
Michael
God.
Myers is a very sympathetic villain, you know? You really understand.
He's just
what
trying
he's go through.
to warn them.
He's like the anti-hero of the series. I do want to mention, though, that I really liked, oh god, what the hell is it? What's the actress's name? The one who survived?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, thank you. I kept want to say Jillian Lewis or something. That's not even a name.
Is that even an actress?
No. The way she handled everything, like the way she performed handling everything, and she looked right scared through most of it, but she made sure to take care of the kids as best as possible. And then, like, when she had to fight, she was cornered. She fought with whatever she had at hand. It wasn't like, okay, I'm going to take care of this guy.
Yeah.
You know, I got my dad's handgun. This is going to end my way or no way. She was like, I got a coat hanger. I'm going to use it.
Yeah. She like fucking
Here,
stabs him in
have
the
that.
neck with a knitting needle.
Matt was
Damn, that's brutal.
Yeah, Matt was saying before about the characters being realistic, but I think also the evolution of the plot and what actually kind of like happens feels very realistic as well.
Yeah.
She kind of runs upstairs, she gets the kids away, she doesn't have enough time to hide, so she goes in the cupboard, and you're thinking, don't go in the cupboard, but like if you had nowhere, you would go in the cupboard, so that makes sense.
And I love the fact it's
Put
the
something
first
between
place he
you and
looks.
him.
Yeah, it is the first place
First
he looks as well.
It's like, you're in there because it's closed. It's just
Yeah.
like, Jesus Christ, he's systematic.
Yeah.
And like even when she runs out of the house, and it's smart because it's set at Halloween. She's running around screaming for help. People would look out and go, "Fucking kids! It's just go to bed. It's just a prank."
Yeah, Halloween.
She's fine. But when
no
she's
cell
like running
phone,
across,
no video camera,
Yeah.
no camera at all, no texting, nothing.
Precisely.
You're by yourself in a way
Exactly.
that today's kids have no idea what it's like.
Yeah. And I just love how she runs across and she's trying to get the keys. And okay, she says it really funny. She just goes, "The keys, oh, the keys." She says it really funny, and it always makes me chuckle. But she looks back over and he's just walking towards her. And he's in no rush. He's in no rush. He's savouring every step.
That's the other thing I really
So I'll
like
get you
about
eventually.
Michael, is that he's doing it. He's on his own time and he doesn't mind. And she's screaming blue murder or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, it's cool."
Yeah.
It's like the police
like,
won't
yeah,
show up,
that's
or
right.
if they do, I guess I'll deal with that because I'm kind of free flowing this thing.
Yeah. Oh, good. They'll show up and I get to kill them as well.
Yeah.
So I got all day. Like, he's just really. It's. I keep coming back to it, but patient. Like, people are like, "Oh, methodical." It's like, it's more patient. So no, it's good. Like, I'm in no rush. Like, you can run away, but I'll get you eventually. Because I'll get you because I know where you are now, and I'll break in somehow. I love the fact that she tells the kids to go upstairs, and she's like, "Oh, good." And then she looks over and she realizes, "Oh, for fuck's sake, the window is open." And that's when he jumps up from behind the couch. So he's like,
Has she noticed yet? Yeah, I can't wait to do this.
"This could be
Gotcha,
great."
bitch.
Ha! Oh shit, knitting needle. Lady, there's a psychopathic doctor. Ah! Why the neck? But yeah, he does take it down, and so he gets a knitting needle to the neck, which, ow. Then she stabs him she pokes him in the eye with a coat hanger. Ow. Then very bad as she grabs a knife, stabs him.
I like that
Ow.
she stabs him like she's never stabbed anyone before. She just grabs it and just pushes it forward. Put it in
like,
your face.
"This'll do." Which is again a very natural fight or flight mentality. You know, you wouldn't be like, "Time to use my skills," you know, or just like, "I'm gonna do like a ninja," stabbing him like that.
Throw.
Yeah, exactly, like all slow motion. Like, you would just be like,
That lunge.
And again, like, a problem people have is like, "Oh, but she stabs him in the neck and he doesn't die." I'm like, yeah, it's a small puncture hole. Like, just, you've seen movies where they always get cut there, like a puncture there, he'd be bleeding, but he'd be okay for a while.
Yeah.
This is a guy who clearly has a threshold for pain.
And he also
she doesn't
doesn't
poke
have
his
an
eye
interest
out.
in his own self-preservation, really, anyway.
No.
It's not like he's going to go to the hospital afterwards. He's already got, like, wounds and stuff on his face. He's just doing it until he burns out.
Yeah,
so he's just going to keep going.
We don't see exactly where she stabs him over. Like, he clutches, like, his midriff. But, like, hey, just because you stab someone in the stomach doesn't mean you're going to push it. You don't know how far she pushes it in. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, he's still gonna be bleeding a lot, but unless she's pushed it deep in, and like you couldn't see the blade anymore, okay, then he'd be fucked. Because that's when you get all the internal organs. But like, again, naturally she stabs him, he goes down, and I don't even know if that's just him fucking with her as well. Like, I'm gonna fall over and she's gonna think I'm down. It's gonna be great, and then I'm gonna like sit up and it's gonna be really scary. I love the way that's a trope as well. There's obviously two very famous pro wrestlers, The Undertaker and Kane. Kane in particular, who was basically playing a wrestler version of Michael Myers at one point. Had the mask, never said anything for most of his early run. And he would do that thing where he'd be down on his back and then he would sit up very much like Michael Myers. And I just love, it's a really nice little touch, but I just love the way he just sits up almost like robotically. It's like, time to get back to work then. It's good because he's not in focus when he sits up as well. And you are expecting it because he's in shot. And although I do understand why some people have a problem with Laurie, because she stabs him in the neck with the knitting needle, picks up the knife, and he's like, "Oh, well, he looks dead." And she's really hysterical at this point. She just like throws the knife down, and she goes upstairs. Then she stabs him. I do understand when people say, "Okay, this time stab him a few more times just to be sure."
Yeah.
She steps over and drops the knife again, like right next to him, and then goes to see the kids. Okay, I'm like, yeah, okay, but some people don't act logically when they're hysterical. Like, she has seen her best friends were murdered by this guy.
You're trying to you're trying to survive. You're not necessarily trying to commit homicide or like you know hot-blooded murder, because
you aren't thinking, better make sure he's dead. You'd be like,
we're all very genre savvy, so the first thing I was thinking is double tap. Just make sure.
Yeah. Just once in the brain, just to be just slowly in the brain, just to be sure.
But you can imagine she hasn't seen too many horror movies like this, and even if she did, like, she's not trying to S rank this mission.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotta make sure that boss is down.
Yeah.
I'd just love to do a movie.
Don't forget to loot the corpse, guys.
I'd love to do a movie where the killer comes and attacks the person, and the person manages to stop the killer, and then stabs them a dozen times just to make sure. And then, like, the police turn up in the morning, and they're like, "Fuck, you went overboard. We should maybe arrest you because like you stabbed him more times than he stabbed people."
Yeah.
I had to disembowel him.
And this guy has victims.
Self-defense.
You disemboweled him? What? Why is his voice box moved? I had to stop him screaming.
But why do you have it?
See, officer, I wasn't happy until every drop of blood had been drained from his body.
I had to be sure that he didn't come back as a zombie.
Then I had to consume the blood to make sure that...
You've seen movies.
I would get his strength so I could defeat him once more. See, I mean, yeah, like you're saying, we're genre savvy, but still, in that situation, when you're hysterical, you're not thinking straight. And I love the fact that her first thought after she does that is she goes and gets the kids. And she's like, "Are you okay? Go outside. He's down at the moment. Just fucking run and go and get help." Because and to be fair, at that moment she's just kind of, the adrenaline has dropped at that point, because she does fall down a flight of stairs backwards. Like, she falls off the banister and then rolls down, and you get the feeling that she's probably in a lot of pain, and that initial adrenaline rush has probably subsided. But also, I don't have a problem with it, because again, you'll be thinking logical. It's not that much of a pet peeve. It is when this is a returning character and a returning villain. That's when I get really annoyed. Or a pet peeve of mine at the moment are modern zombie films, when someone starts acting like a zombie and they're like, and they're like, their eyes are blood red and they're like foaming and brains. They're like, they're sick.
It's like,
we should help
Derek, them. Are you still
Derek?
Derek's still
Whoa.
in there. How dare you talk about killing Derek?
It's like, he's okay. Like in is it Quarantine, which is the American remake of Rec, like REC. And there's that bit where the little girl has clearly turned into like a rage zombie from 28 Days Later, and they know that they are fucking zombies, and you get infected by getting bitten, and they will take your jugular out. And this cop like goes, "Oh my god, she's there," and then he turns away from her, and then she latches like, "Ah!" So I hate that. I hate in modern zombie movies and like, no, what's wrong with them? Like, have you what fucking universe is this when no one's made a zombie movie? Well, you'd be like, there's something wrong with them. I think it's some kind of infection. We should quarantine them.
It's so
keep them away from everyone else.
Because there are a million situations where someone could know they've seen enough of it in the movie or the film or whatever to go, okay, this is bad shit. We need to make sure we put these people down. They're not going to come. We're not going to be able to save them. And then there are a million scenarios where they could still have that knowledge, but something just goes wrong to the point where it's out of their control, as opposed to blatant human error in the face of learned experience.
It's like they've done it a few times in The Walking Dead as well, where they see corpses and just assume they're dead. Yeah. If that was me and I'd survived that long, I would have a sharp stabby stick like Morgan, my favourite character, and I would just be like, okay, that corpse, it might be dead. Stab. Okay, stab, and then I would not go anywhere unless I knew they were all dead. Because it's so frustrating in that show when it's a character who has survived this apocalypse for God knows how many years now. Even if it's 6 months, like, you would be so savvy, you've survived
6 months would be a long
collapse
time
of society.
Because, that's a long. You've got to feed yourself. You've got to look after yourself. It would 6 months would feel like a year at least. Yeah, that's why it's just always so weird in that show when it's like they find a camp and it's got like traps like the tin cans and set up, and it's like, damn, they didn't make it. Like, how did they survive that long beforehand? It's like they were just unlucky. Like, no, they were just obviously a lapse in concentration. But it's a pet peeve of mine with stuff like that. Like, oh my god, what's wrong with them? Like, that guy got bitten earlier, and now he's acting the same. So
zombies or some kind of virus like zombieism. So get them away, kill them, because like he looks very dead, and I'm pretty sure you can't. Any kind of cure isn't going to fix the hole in his neck, and the fact that because I think there's a fireman in quarantine that like falls down like 4 flights of steps and lands on his head, and like breaks his neck, and then he gets up going. They're like, we need to get him. We need to help him. He's sick. Like,
Yeah.
Feel on his neck. His neck's broken. Look at it. He's like, I think if you cure him, he'd still be dead. So,
yeah.
So I can forgive Laurie not double tapping Michael, to be sure. Like I can completely forgive that. It's fine. It's like if that's people like it's my massive problem with the movie. Like then the movie is okay. If that's your biggest problem. Yeah, like this is a teenager. Don't forget. She's supposed to be like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah,
she's
not a murderer.
Fucking terrified. Yeah,
not
she's
a sociopath.
terrified. Yeah, and they establish the whole movie is basically establishing that she's really nice and she's kind of shy and she's kind of like the she's like the nerd of the group really. For that, she's really nice, she's caring, she looks after the kids, she's really sweet, and she's very innocent. That's the idea. That's the whole point of her character, and then she's thrust into this situation with this homicidal maniac.
Right.
So, I'm terribly sorry if the 17-year-old boy or girl doesn't go, yeah, I'm gonna fucking stab him. Like, they'd probably be freaking out.
You what, mate?
Yeah.
You what, mate?
I'll have you.
Slice up your nippers, something like that. I'll slice up your Jacobs, you wouldn't.
Not my Jacobs. What the fuck is that?
That's Michael Myers' first words are, no.
No, please don't.
Stab him in the dick. It's like, Mr. Loomis, I'm going to stab him in the dick. No. Like Sideshow Bob in that Simpsons episode when he's attached underneath the car and it's like, who wants to drive through the cactus patch? Yay, no.
Yeah.
It's like 5-1. But no, massive tangent, but I've got like no problem with her not stabbing him in the brain because so what? Doesn't matter.
Very small tangent, but I've already mentioned it before. It's just the fact that like the nurse was dumb opening her window, but also I mean seriously, if anyone's banging on my car, windows up.
Someone's
and
on the
whatever I
roof.
can get at hand.
You're like, okay, that's not. She's like,
I'm
Dr.
just
Loomis.
Reach around there and grab him and throw him off my roof, and then roll my window back up.
Because like she's got no.
I don't know.
God dang it! She's got no excuse because she sees it's an inmate. Obviously, Michael Myers.
Yeah, she knows where
jumping
she is.
up the windshield, like, oh, there he goes. Michael Myers, what are you doing? Ah!
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe she thought it was Dr. Loomis. Dr. Loomis, are you playing around again? Oh, crazy Dr. Loomis playing his pranks.
Yeah, he gets out of the car just to climb on top of the car and just go, wee.
And yet, like, again, about how fucking great Donald Pleasance was, there's a line he says right after he drives away that a lesser actor would make it sound so comical and goofy when he just says, the evil has gone, and he just keeps saying it. The evil is gone from here! And it's like, because it's Donald Pleasance, and you're just like, oh fuck, yeah, he believes that, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there is something to be said about a character who seems to be so, he's analytical and a doctor, to actually just say the supernatural response. Like, oh, the evil has left. Not like, an evil man has left, or like, Michael Myers has left, but like, the evil, period. The dark one has left the building.
Yeah, and it's like, damn, that's his, like, psychologist or whatever, like, that's a lot for a doctor to call someone evil.
Yeah.
Like, that takes a lot for a doctor of any kind to just go, that person sitting opposite me is pure evil. Don't let them go.
Yeah, lock them up forever. Why don't we just kill them then, really? Like, just make it happen.
And he
keeps
saying, like, I tried.
The one thing he said where he said, I can't remember the exact numbers, but he says something like, for 6 years I tried to reach him, and then for 7 years I tried to keep him locked up.
Right, but I mean, like
this dude tried.
I mean, like I said, like, put strychnine in his meds and just be like, oops.
Oh no, he's dead. What a shame.
Yeah, no one's gonna like get creeped out standing over here anymore. Free up the cell.
Bring on the next evil one. Oh god, he's worse.
He's worse.
Can I just
What's your
say,
name, Mr.
also,
Kruger?
by the way, can I just say, because they were supposed to be taking him the next day for some kind of trial or something. Who the fuck schedules it on the anniversary of the fucking murder he did?
Thank God. This would be funny, right? Maybe that's
It was
what
the first available
like,
slot, I'm afraid.
What a coincidence. Also, but let's not forget that he's not all doom and gloom, because there is that moment where he does show he has a sense of humour. When he scares the shit out of the school bullies.
Yeah, I like that bit.
What is it he says? It's like, hey, you little shitheads, get the hell out of here. And then like, ah! And then he has that smile on his face like, that was funny. And then the sheriff scares the shit out of him. He's like, ah! Okay, that serves me right. It's like, yeah, that's karma.
Well, he has been like dossing around that house for like 6-7 hours. So like, I don't blame him.
He's looking for some kind of distraction at this point.
Yeah.
But
it is funny just the way it's just that smile he has on his face afterwards. It's like,
gotcha, bitch.
Fuck you, kids. I hate kids as much as I hate Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Well, I followed. Apparently, he is like. Doesn't the sequel literally take place the next day or something? And has a lot of the same characters in it. So
the world's most the emptiest hospital in the world. Because it's just like it's like there's only one patient, and it's Laurie Strode, and it's like a skeletal staff of 4 doctors and a nurse or something stupid like that.
Just more than enough for Laura, or whatever her name was. I do want to mention real quick while we're talking about like empty hospitals, though, is I thought it was actually really clever in the beginning, besides the whole window thing, that they used an open field and a gate to illustrate a insane asylum, and you know it was an insane asylum because they let them all out for whatever reason in the camera. Like you can see all of them just like strolling around, and it's like, wait, are they supposed to be out? But instead of like actually showing like a massive fuck off building, or even like going into a building, they just like had it off in the distance. And most of the scene in that part of the movie was during the nighttime anyway, so it was just like you could insinuate where they were without actually having to accept all the details of it. You could just sort of use your imagination, is what I'm saying. I thought that was a really cool, like, cheap way to do that scene.
No, mate.
Yeah, I think
you just don't have to see the hospital, so.
To generate this much revenue from such a meager budget, and to literally write the playbook on the genre as well. Well,
I think, I might be remembering it wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was the most successful independent film ever in terms of money it recouped, because it cost like way less than $500,000 to make, and it got like 65 million or something.
Well, that explains why there's so many copycats afterwards then.
Yep, it made a lot of money. But I'm pretty sure it was the most successful independent film until Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, seriously, like the TMNT movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that was, I'm pretty sure, that was a, I mean, a lot of people, when they find that out, are really surprised that was an independent movie. Like, yeah. Like, do you really think there was like major studios that were like, yeah, we're gonna financially back the shit out of this? Considering it was like, you want to make a live action movie of Turtles?
I thought it was just that property was shit hot at the time. Like, I would have believed
it was. Oh yeah, I mean it was very popular in terms of the toy line and the cartoon, but I'm pretty sure it was independently funded. Like, they had to really go out their way to.
I guess the publishing company was Golden Harvest, and that was the same company that did the Bruce Lee movies. So, like, as far as publishing, or maybe like film, I'm not sure what they were, the publisher or like production company, but yeah, Golden Harvest was involved, and so they had some clout there, plus with the martial arts stuff, being the Bruce Lee movies and the Ninja Turtles movies. So,
oh yeah, here we go. I found it. So yeah, Golden Harvest, Limelight Entertainment, 888 Productions, Mirage Enterprises, and North Shore Investments. It was distributed by Neon Cinema. And yep, it became the highest grossing independent film at the time. It made a lot of money. So it cost like 13.5 million and got 202.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, that's a substantial amount of money, especially for then.
Yeah.
Especially then, that was a huge risk
money
as well.
Yeah, it's 90s money. I mean, that's a movie that I've actually seen probably at least a dozen times, and I don't watch a lot of movies over and over again. Usually I watch like one movie once, and I just move on with my life. But like Turtles, that's a movie that I would loop. It was a good movie. I mean, it's a good action movie.
It is.
It's got heart. It's got comedy. It's 90s. Well, probably more like mid 80s or something. I don't know.
I guess like late 80s.
It was 1990.
Oh, 1990.
1990.
Okay, it was right on the line.
1990.
And it's got the turtles. And the turtles are accurately represented. Like if you actually read the first comic book, like the legit Eastman and Laird issue number 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, whatever, this movie follows that timeline, which is why it was so much different from the cartoon. Thankfully, in the end, like the cartoon when I was a kid was like, "Yay, it's fun!" Even though like Donatello speaks with Raphael's voice sometimes, or like they just get the colors mismatched, or the events are all weird, or they're just all hanging out in a pizzeria as themselves, and no one's like panicking because it's just a cartoon. But like the original Turtles movie felt real, like it was a really good movie. But
I think the fact that it was independent helped because they were able to make it darker and it wasn't as comical and family friendly, and because of that, like that's what kids wanted. Because the sequel, obviously, I don't think was independent, and they were like, no, they have to like use like funny things, like instead of using their weapons, they use like sausages.
Cartoon, right?
And it's like, yeah, but we don't want that. It's live action. And the fact that the first movie is quite kind of gritty and violent for its time, like for a kids movie as well. Yeah. And it's like, hey, because by that time, 1990, a lot of the kids that watched the cartoon had grown up a bit and were adolescents then, and they would have wanted something that, it's not edgy, but
not edgy.
It was that. when you think about it, wasn't exactly like the cartoon. It was edgier than the cartoon, basically.
Right.
It was definitely more violent. Like fucking Shredder gets crushed at the end. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like and then the Shredder gets crushed in a garbage. Like, it's like off he goes inside a garbage can. Like, crush.
Davy Jones, he just murdered a man. Like you're all fun and games with baseball bats and hockey sticks until you just killed this person. This immigrant, by the way, a minority. You asshole.
That's what I'm saying. The police turn up and they're like, "Oh, you were being like oppressed by the Shredder, but like all we see here is cold-blooded murder."
You racist asshole.
It's like, there was a ninja master. He had a lot to teach people, and you crushed him. Like if it was Michael Myers, it would be fine because he was just a shape.
Yeah.
You crushed Shredder.
You crushed one of the greatest martial arts minds of our history. How dare you? How dare you?
There's no one else to teach.
How will people learn how to use martial arts in the Foot Clan now?
And then they bring him back in the sequel, and he's like, I got out somehow.
Yeah, I climbed out of it. And then they misused that, and this is not a Turtles podcast, I'm sorry, but anyway, they misused him like crazy, because like he came back, he was kind of badass, they sort of set it up, like, okay, here we go. And then at the end, he just like becomes Super Shredder, and then kills himself.
Yeah,
and that's how
he's
the
like,
movie ends.
Super Shredder. He's even stronger. Oh, he knocked over the supports for the pier, and he drowned.
Yeah, he's so super, he can't fucking swim.
Like, even as a kid, I was just like sat there watching it going, oh, but I wanted to see them fight him.
Yeah. Like, you get this big setup, and he's like, ah!
You're like, how are they going to kill this guy? How are they going to beat him? Like, oh, fuck!
We'll just wait a bit, and then he'll kill himself. Roll credits, ninja power, guys.
It'd be like the Hulk accidentally killing himself. Like wow, the Incredible Hulk movie is going to be great. Hulk smash.
Like Hulk smash brain.
like Hulk biggest enemy there is. That was an anticlimax.
So logically, Hulk has to kill himself.
Goddamn, purely bad. I
think we're done with Halloween.
We are.
Fucking excellent, fantastic film.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Great.
And I'm looking forward to trying out at least the good sequels.
Second one's got moments, but it ramps up the gore
I'll watch it because of Loomis. I would watch it because of Loomis.
You'd be surprised that's one of the few things online people say. I kept coming back for Donald Pleasance because it's like, hey, he's just fucking great. Season of the Witch it's not a great movie, but it's unfairly judged because what they wanted to do at that point, and it was actually, I think it was John Carpenter and Deborah Hill's idea, was to then turn the series into an anthology series. kind of like how we've got the Cloverfield films at the moment.
Yeah.
Where it's like the running theme is like supernatural, sci-fi, horror, or alien invasion. There's like sci-fi horror elements, giant monsters, aliens, stuff like that. It's like a running theme, and it's like all kind of in the same world, but there's little elements that are kind of connected.
There's a reason why that really fits as well, is because I was reading on the trivia page that originally this was going to be called the Babysitter Killer or something like that, and the guy suggested, why not just set it at Halloween? And that's so iconic. You know, that guy, whatever he got paid, he didn't get paid enough. But that kind of like sets it up for like, oh, this was the Babysitter Killer kind of like saga of Halloween, and now we're going to have like our Silver Shamrocks or whatever it is.
Yeah, like, could you imagine though? Like, no one's going to go, "Hey, have you seen the Babysitter?" No one's going to go and see that movie. It would get a cult following from people that like trash cinema. It would get a cult following like people that would go and see like really trashy, like, even people trashier than me. Because there's some films that I have like no fucking wish. I don't want to watch a Serbian movie. Fuck off with that. It's got a message. It'd get an audience like that, but it wouldn't make it that much money. It'd be no success. Sometimes a really simple title works, like Alien. Alien's just a great title. What is it like? It's Alien. Like it could be. It's just something. You know, it's Jaws. Jaws works as well. Sometimes a simple title just really works. And Halloween is just, again, it's really iconic. Like someone says Halloween, and I always instantly just think of the movie.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking iconic. Like even the credits at the beginning, like
I love the credits.
The music's playing
with just the pumpkin,
and it's just it goes on to pumpkin, and then
he was
the
such a
light in the
little
pumpkin just.
I want him as my like wallpaper or something.
Yeah, and like it gets closer, and it's just and the music's ramping up, and then I think the flame just is extinguished, and it's like, that's great. It's simple. Simple's good.
Yeah.
The babysitter murder or killer is like.
Yeah.
And also, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because he kills he would kill people that aren't babysitters. So, but watch the second one, and then the third one, because the third one's an anthology movie. It's nothing to do with Michael Myers, like at all.
No, that sounds.
There's
fun.
even a moment.
That sounds refreshing.
There's even a moment where the main character, who is played by. Oh, I've forgotten his name. He was one of the main characters in The Fog. The guy that picks up Jamie Lee Curtis in The Fog.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember the face.
Yeah, he's rocking like a great moustache. He's got like a wicked moustache in it as well. And he's great. He's great in the movie. He's one of my favourite things about Season of the Witch, because he really carries it. And again, he puts, like Donald Pleasence, he's not the same caliber. He really gives it his all, and he makes you really fucking believe. And he's like in a bar, and he looks up, and they're watching Halloween. And it's the scene where Michael Myers is walking down the stairs to get to Laurie Strode. She's just fallen down.
That's
it's
neat.
like, hey, this is a different thing. It's just this different thing. But people hated it. They're like, where's Michael Myers? Where's Michael Myers? Where's Michael Myers? Where's Michael Myers? And they hated it because of that. And it got this really unfair stigma that it's like, it's a terrible movie. It's the bastard of the series. Michael Myers isn't even in it. I'm like, yeah, it's probably a good thing. Because what we got next was awful. What we got after that was awful. And it was awful again. Then they made H2O, because it was the 20th year anniversary, and they called it H2O. That was okay. And then they made Resurrection.
That's the
really
Busta
bad.
Rhymes one, right?
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, I'm watching that one then.
He karate kicks Michael Myers while going, Wah! So,
I'm at least going to go to YouTube and watch that right now.
Yeah, I think that's probably the better thing to do than invest the time in the whole movie.
It's shockingly bad. It's like, you ever watch like movies that have a substantial budget and just are amazed at how cheap it looks?
Yeah.
And like, how can this movie cost so much money and look this bad?
Without going into too much detail, that's kind of how it's not that Solo, a Star Wars story, looked bad, but Red Letter Media pointed out in their review some of the kind of cinematography problems with it, and it was only when I heard them say it, I was like, yeah, for some reason they've thrown millions upon millions of dollars at this, and it looks kind of muddy and a bit kind of like you don't see that kind of crisp quality on the screen, and it's like how does a film with like, you know, like a huge flagship film with
it's weird.
of millions of dollars.
It's so weird when that happens. Like I always thought that Spider-Man 3 effects-wise looked really poor. I thought it's just like, considering because the CGI in Spider-Man 2 I thought looked really, especially for its time, looked really fucking good. And they didn't abuse it. But I was remembering Spider-Man 3 just thinking it looked really cheap. Because there's that one shot where he's running in front of the flag because we have to make Spider-Man patriotic. This kid from New York is like really patriotic for some reason.
What's wrong with that?
It's just like, yeah, Spider-Man, like Captain
America, fuck yeah, Spider-Man.
It's like he's red and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works. Fuck it.
Yeah, he's got the white eyes, red, white, and blue. He's a fucking flag in motion, man.
But there's that one moment where he's like running in front of the flag, and I also it looked really shit. Like it looked like they rushed it, and they're like, fuck it, put this shot in. Like, but we've used all our budget. Use some graphics from the video game. It'd be great. It'd be fine.
Yeah.
Oh no, just make it really dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, Resurrection looks cheap. Is really bad. It's a really bad movie. You know it's bad when they've run out of ideas when they go, yeah, it's gonna be like a what is it? They're like, it's a reality TV show where the kids they set up cameras in the Michael Myers house. You're like, please kill me. Please fucking kill me. It's very bad. Only watch it if you want to make fun of it.
I don't want
that. It's trick or treat, motherfucker.
Yeah, I just watched that video, that clip. It was just like, he kicks in the door, he's like, trick or treat! 3-second pause. Motherfucker.
I'm like, is that your best take?
How many takes did it take to get to that spot? You know, He was like, all right, Busta, eventually kick in the door again. Everything's on fire, so we're on a time crunch here. Kick in the door and be like, trick or treat, count to 3. Motherfucker.
I've just got this idea of when they're shooting, he's like, trick or treat.
Line.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, they cut out the part where the Mike Myers actor was like, motherfucker.
He's a motherfucker. Motherfucker.
What'd you say, motherfucker?
And the first thing that makes me think as well is like the righteous indignation that Michael Myers probably felt. He's like, I don't like fucking anybody. I don't like anybody fucking. Yeah. I shut that shit down.
He's like, motherfucker, this is my house.
Oh, right, also, my bad, man. Let me help you put this fire out.
But it's like, and then, because when you look at like the first one and how scary he is and generally like intimidating, because he's a tall dude, but he's not stupidly tall like Jason Voorhees. He's a tall guy.
Yeah. Still
like reasonable height. Just very imposing, very intimidating.
He's a very tall drink of murder.
Yeah, like how far we've fallen of this guy being really just physically intimidating to a character kicking down a door and saying trick or treat, motherfucker, like he's nothing. Like the guy he's lost all of his
it's Busta Rhymes. Nothing
mystique.
Intimidates Busta Rhymes. He's from the hood.
The knife.
That's right.
I know karate. Yeah, you'll kick him and he'll stab your foot.
Yeah.
For anyone who is not aware, there's. Hi there, guys. Future Tom here. I'd like to apologise because I've only gone and mixed up 2 completely different rappers. Xzibit was on the Within Temptation track, Busta was on the Linkin Park track. I'm a dummy, no need to correct me. I'm correcting myself right now. Anyway, back to the cast. A symphonic metal band called Within Temptation, and they did a really good cover of Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. But aside from that, they did a collaboration with Busta Rhymes on their most recent album, Hydra. Yes, it's the song is called "And We Run" or something like that. If you listen to it, Busta Rhymes is the one thing that symphonic metal was missing, and I don't say that lightly. It is like his verse is so powerful. Like every time it comes on,
I had no idea. I'm going to have to check this shit out.
Every time it comes on in the car. Because I've got most of it memorized, so like I turn to my wife and I do the rapping and stuff, because he's got like these kind of like 4 or 8 bars that he does, and he starts off and he's kind of like building pace. It's like no time, it's my time now, no time for tears, something like that, and he's building, and then he goes, because I miss too much and I love everybody, destroy every motherfucking thing I touch, and it's like in the background you've got like this woman going oh, and it's like it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I want to hear this. I want this.
It sounds like the craziest thing.
I like Busta. I just don't like. I mean, like I went to get one of his albums or whatever, but like the majority of it wasn't fun. It was all like tough gangster rap stuff. But like the stuff he did in like the '90s, that he made videos of, like Dangerous or something like that, and then. Give me some more, you know, even though I'd be getting money, you can give me some more. That shit makes me laugh every time I hear it.
He also
and
did a great
Break
song
Your
with
Neck
Linkin
or
Park,
whatever,
by the way, as well.
Yeah, the stuff with Linkin Park, it was good. Like he's a talented man. I just don't want like the angry like hood stuff because I don't identify with any of that. But symphonic metal plus Busta Rhymes, I've got to hear this. So
yeah, obviously I can't repeat the word because I'm not allowed to use the word, but when I'm
which one is it?
Naggers.
Hypothetically,
right? Okay.
Hypothetically, when that song comes on, I'm saying everything he's saying, including his line in the chorus, which is really good.
That's cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
Stop
See,
that
I mean,
right now.
Chester, bless him, R.I.P. goes, "Together we made it," and in the background he goes, "Said we did." And it's like,
yes.
Like, Jesus Christ, where did you come from?
Was,
God damn it, Busta.
Necessary.
It's like, I felt like I could just come in and you know, ram you guys. Like,
well, stick around
last time,
for a
Busta,
bit. Let's try this out.
He's got another awesome line in that
this is a
song
new album.
where he goes, "I'm a symbol of greatness, call me Morpheus."
Yeah.
Which I'm presuming is a reference to The Matrix.
Probably.
I hope so. But it's like, but Lawrence Fishburne's black. Like,
true.
Unless you mean the actual biblical character Morpheus. I don't know. I mean, person, not character.
There reaches a point where you don't question someone who kicks Michael Myers with the word motherfucker.
Yeah.
With karate going. Wah!
You're like, I guess this is not a tense horror film anymore. This is the Busta Rhymes shit.
That's why I point out. It's like that's the day Michael Myers died. Like, but he didn't die. I'm like, yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
He died inside.
Yeah.
That's when Michael Myers gave up.
Yeah.
He's like, this shit's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
And he put his knife down and walked away. That'd be the best thing if he just goes. If like Busta Rhymes, he bursts in, he says trick or treat motherfucker, starts going wah! Like that, and then Michael Myers just goes, walks over to the building's on fire at this point, but he walks over to the counter, puts the knife down, takes his mask and just goes, this just isn't fun anymore. Thanks a bunch, and just walks out. Roll credits. As he just takes the suit off and he's just got like regular clothes underneath, dumps it, and he just walks off.
And then the police come and say, we've had a complaint from Mr. M. Myers. He says you trespassed in his house, set it on fire, and
set fire to it,
and all the while making horrid accusations about him and his mother.
And they're just like, how could you do that? Like, get in the car, and the credits just roll. Like that's a post credit sequence. Mid credit roll is when they arrest him. So obviously the credits are just rolling. Michael Myers is just walking off into the distance, just shaking his head. Like the sad music from Incredible Hulk is playing.
Yeah.
It's like it was all good fun, and now it's
And
then
all those murders.
The post credit sequences, he's just like in a cafe or a diner somewhere. He's just drinking, and they look up, and then he looks up, and Busta Rhymes is being arrested, and he just goes. And like he sees like a sharp object, and he's just like,
no.
And he pays for his coffee. Leaves a tip.
When Mr. Rhymes was asked if he had any remorse, he said, "We did
it." Nice.
Oh, by the way,
as he's being carted away.
Incidentally, fuck post-credit scenes. Because every movie has one now. I went to see Jurassic World 2, Jurassic Harder.
Jurassic Harder.
I want to see it because I actually kind of want to make fun of it.
It was. I have a soft spot for those.
Because I'm someone that really likes it.
I had a soft spot for those movies, so I enjoyed it. I had fun. I say I got my money's worth. I'd pay for the Cineworld card. So this month I think we've seen like 2 or 3 movies. So I've definitely got my money's worth. And but the post-credit scene is literally like 6 seconds long. And
you know
it was not worth staying.
The best one.
6 seconds.
Best.
6 seconds.
Wow.
My favourite out of all the post-credit sequences was for Spider-Man: Homecoming. I don't know if you know it. It's because during the movie there's a cameo from Captain America, and it's like he's doing like a really terrible PSA.
Yes, I love those.
It's like, and and poor old Steve is really uncomfortable. He's like, "Hi kids," and he's trying to be all like heroic and really stilted, and he's very uncomfortable, and it's kind of adorable. And the post-credit sequence is that, and he's like,
they're not going to listen to these at all.
He's like, he's like, you're expecting. He's like, it's almost like going, were you expecting something else? But it's just him looking really uncomfortable and awkward. He's like, how many more of these have we got? And that's it. I was like, and so I heard someone go, what the fuck? And I was just like, fucking great. That's funny.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was really funny. And the fact it got that reaction from someone's like, that was dumb.
They could have revealed like
most of
another Spider-Man villain or something.
Yeah, they didn't like hint at a character that's not going to be in the movie until like 5 years' time. Like with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they've hinted at Adam. I think it's Adam Warlock. It's one of the characters in the comics, and it's what like these people they create him. And it's like I call him Adam. It's like that's Adam. I had to Google him. I was like, oh, Adam Warlock. I know who Warlock is. I just thought his name was Adam. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool, but we're not going to get another Guardians of the Galaxy movie for like what 3-4 more years.
Yeah,
and that came out like 2 years ago nearly. So like I'm over that. Like unless it's something that is going to happen in the next movie coming up, that's the only thing I really give a shit about.
Yeah.
Although it did make me laugh because to my left there were these two idiots, and I wish I was making it up. Even though there's that little Easter egg where we saw Thanos fighting someone because they're like going through like a time warp, and you see him like punching someone. It's like, oh, Thanos, that's a cool little cameo. That's nice, just to remind us that he's always there. And when she's like, I've created the perfect being, and I will call him, the guy went, oh, Thanos! I was like, really?
We're watching the same movies.
Really? Like, and he was like, and she went, Adam went, okay. So he was like, it's Thanos, isn't it? Like, no. We know Thanos. Did you see the first movie? He was in the first movie. We saw Thanos in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
This isn't a prequel.
Did we see him at the very end of the first Captain America or something like that?
He's at the end of the first Avengers movie.
That's it, yeah.
Because we know that Loki was working for someone, and then he turns to the camera at the end. You're like, oh shit, it's Thanos, and he's got like a few scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Yeah.
But the guy was so like,
They revealed Thanos finally
yeah, finally they've revealed him again,
for the fourth
and he's
time.
gold this time. He looks like a regular dude.
Yeah.
His movies are weird.
Movies are weird. Movies are hard to understand.
Tell me, hello, what is this movie? Yeah. It's like the Gumbies from Monty Python. Hello.
Is that Thanos?
I like it when he punches them.
You always feel like shit in those movies is like signposted to hell, and you're like, oh, treat the audience with some respect, and then someone like that comes along, you're like, no, actually, apparently we need to spell it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just there for the explosions. I like it when the things blow up.
It's funny though, because like I've seen the Gummies before, like when I watched Monty Python on Comedy Central like 20 years ago. But like you don't really appreciate them until you get to your 30s. It's like some
like
people
shit,
really need to be told in like no uncertain terms how fucking stupid they sound.
Hello. I like it when I make things go boom.
I like breaking bricks.
What is it? I believe in peace and banging two bricks together. I love the Gumbies so much.
Yeah, they're great now.
It's so much fun.
But we are like 2 hours.
Very tangent.
Yeah, that was Halloween.
Yeah,
it's go and watch it. Like it's just
Halloween.
I liked it when he made the knife.
It was very pleasant.
Yeah, it was all right. Oh, right, the actor's name.
I will say one thing. Donald Pleasance can't save every movie. Actually, before that, should be important to note that this time the first person to play Michael Myers was Nick Castle, who was a friend of John Carpenter, obviously.
Wasn't he also an NSYNC member? Sorry, you said Nick. I was just like, that's the only Nick that I know. Go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
God damn it. He's
That's why he wore a mask.
Have either of you ever seen The Last Starfighter?
I've read the book. Like when I was 5.
Oh, he directed.
He directed the book.
He directed. He directed the movie.
Getting punchy. Sorry.
So lucky you live in America. No, he directed The Last Starfighter.
Well, I'd love to direct a book. You just look at the writer and you go,
yeah, go.
Write it.
Write that.
Use the pen.
But he also fucking guys. He also wrote Escape from New York and Hook.
Oh, Hook is awesome.
Yeah, and he's reprising his role as Michael Myers in the new one.
Oh, that's cool.
Even though he's like 70. I'll get you!
Well, you moved slow in the first movie. We have no expectations of him moving fast in this movie.
It's like, please, like, they're just going to both be falling over, hurting themselves. Like, oh, I'm getting too old for this.
I just had a mental image of, like, our new Laurie Strode or whatever at the top of the stairs, and like she's looking over the banister, and you hear the theme go as like the stair lift comes up.
I've modified it so it's quicker.
Unsettling piano music.
No. I've modified it so it's slower.
Yeah. And like it plays that theme music when it's activated.
Dun. 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 He's just like going, dun. Dun. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, Laurie.
Oh boy. Well, yeah. We'll draw a line there because we could talk about this movie forever. Chris, I believe.
Watch the movie.
Choice. Next.
Oh right. A choice for what? I was just like.
You're Chris.
Who's Chris?
Talking to me.
Is he behind me?
It's me.
You see?
Chris isn't here right now.
Yeah. For the same reasons everyone chooses things for this podcast is, I haven't been through something, so I want to go through it, and we'll talk about it. So I decided to choose Bioshock because, like 7 years ago, I told my fiance I'd do a Let's Play on it. I never did. So, because other games are more fun to play. But, I'd like to go through it eventually, and so I figure we'll go ahead and make it for part of the podcast. So
that's good because
I'm fully okay with that.
I have great memories of that.
Any
game.
excuse to play it. Yeah. It's on August it's going to be 11 years old.
Wow.
It's going to get
Jesus Christ.
First job as a paperboy soon or something, whatever. What's a landmark for 11?
Jesus Christ, 11 years. Oh my god. Oh god. Existential crisis. I need to go. But no, yeah, Bioshock, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Any excuse to play Bioshock.
Yeah.
I did zip around a bit on it on the PC version, the remastered version, and it's pretty good. It's pretty fun so far. Pretty scary. It's got some pretty good jump scares that I see coming but don't see coming,
It also tries to build atmosphere to those things. It's not like they come out of nowhere. It's you read notes or you hear those logs and you kind of the lighting is flickering and you're kind of like where is everybody, and then something happens, and that game is full of moments like that are really kind of well crafted. Little set pieces.
There's some great moments in it, and the lighting is. I remember the lighting being really good, especially for its time that lighting played a major part. It really helped boost the atmosphere, and also the location's great. So
the locations, it's
you ain't going
killer.
nowhere.
It's that's like one of a kind.
You ain't going nowhere.
I mean, Rapture is. I don't know of any other kind of video game or even movie that has like an underwater city that looks like that.
Yeah,
or even with that concept background story or anything like that. It's like it's really truly one of a kind as far as I know. Unless it's some sort of like obscure Jules Verne book that I haven't read.
I know there was. I think Soma came out a couple of years ago, which is like an underwater thing, but it pales in comparison.
Yeah, another one of those walking simulators.
I mean, it's like there's always a good location for any kind of like horror thing is always either space or underwater.
Yeah,
because like, hey, where are you gonna go?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is kind of it's almost just as terrifying to try and escape, because if a dent hits the wall or something, everything comes flushing in. You're dead. So
Yeah.
the outside is just as
often.
deadly, if not deadlier. So you're stuck inside. You got to make the best of it.
You also genuinely want to explore it. You know, like it's
Yeah.
not like, oh, we're in a
It's
haunted
cool.
house or whatever. Been in a haunted house. I put some creepy attic somewhere. This is like, I'm underwater, but there's lights everywhere. It's not dark. It's just oppressive. And
It's,
you have like those splicers who are just like muttering shit constantly, and you can hear them nearby, and it's like, get my gun and take care of this guy.
It's a stroke of genius, kind of setting like the events of, like a little tiny bit after the events of like a big night. I think it like a New Year's Eve or something. So like everyone in Rapture was having a party, and then everything went to shit. And it reminds me a lot in some ways of The Shining in that way, is that there's kind of like this event in the past, and everything's kind of like dilapidated, and the almost the ghosts of what's left of Rapture kind of haunt it. It does feel like a kind of, you know,
I can see that.
a living, breathing, haunted kind of place.
This thing's got to feel like it's alive. But anyway, yeah, so I'm looking forward to exploring that all over again and beating people with a
Welcome to
wrench.
the circus of value.
Oh, it is so much easier to hack shit on the PC version. Oh man,
I love that minigame. I used to
you
have
can
that
just like
game on the
click
entire
everywhere
like
and then
Pipe
just move
Master or
shit,
something.
and then it's done. As
Pipe.
opposed to PS4 where it's like click 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 X, click 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 click. The water is building. The water is building. There's no knowing where we're going.
I'm console till I die. And the last time I played it on I got the Brass Balls achievement back when I used to give a shit about achievements. So although I think I might have told you guys I save scummed that to get through it. So I might do the same thing again. If I get bored, maybe I'll drop the difficulty down. But
I don't think I'm going to go for that. I think I'll just play it to enjoy it. Obviously, the challenge as well, but
Yeah, it does feel
I
better
don't play on easy.
to turn the respawn thing off, though. You know?
yeah, I was never a fan of that part. But I mean, you know, we can talk all about that when we've
yes.
dipped our
Why not
toes.
just like double
back
podcast tonight, right now, another 2 hours. What do you remember about Bioshock? And then like the next podcast, we'll be like, oh, I forgot a lot of shit about Bioshock. Okay, no, we're not.
I'll go and play it. I'll finish it in an hour. It'll be great. Give me a second.
I'm going to be spending from now until the next podcast installing it. So
Well, if it's on PlayStation 4, it'll be okay. If it's Xbox One, yeah. It's like, you're downloading it, now installing.
yep.
Hurry
I can play it in a
up.
couple... I might be able to play it tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a
Wednesday.
good thing I have to go to work.
That's it. It's alright, Microsoft. I've got nothing better to do.
Yeah. So, Bioshock it is for the next podcast.
Until we're all enraptured.
Shut up.
Look, I'm trying. I almost did a kind of like a Myers, like here's Myers' opinion on.
Oh fucking hell!
But I thought the
Me
Pleasance
too.
one was kind of was mid tier.
It was. The Pleasant one was good. I just didn't notice it until much later.
I did.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a good pun for Halloween either. I was just like, I hope I can figure something out soon. Turn this boat around. Yeah.
Well, I'll take the low hanging fruit, and between now and next podcast, would you kindly play Bioshock 1, and we'll meet back here
Seriously.
next time.
I'm going to go and play Bioshock 1.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that right now. Actually, I'm at my computer. I'll just turn it on right here. Start playing.
We'll just go. This episode of Spoilers of the Damned was hosted by Axton10_61, Madcus Finch, and Garlops. To find out about us, as well as join the discussion on our Discord, check out all the links in the description below. Please feel free to leave a review or rate us on your podcast app of choice.